There will now be an opportunity for silent prayer or meditation. You may be seated. Honourable members, let me take this opportunity to acknowledge the presence of in the House. When the Premier is not there, then I presume there's an acting, so I see the Leader of Government Business is here. And all MECs that is present here and all members of this august House, you are most welcome to the second day's sitting. Can we please sort out what is happening? We have a very long day today, and yesterday there was lots of laughs, and I hope that the MECs that were on virtual have observed all the intricacies of delivering the policy speech. Please take note of all those things that you've picked up yesterday. I'm sure today you will be perfecting all of those issues. But honourable members, before we commence the business of the day, let me take this opportunity to lay down some ground rules that will assist in facilitating our virtual sitting. I think already we are having problems with people who are speaking whilst I am speaking here. Members are once again reminded that this is a formal sitting of the Legislature, and therefore all the standing rules of the Legislature applies. The Rules Committee has ratified and adopted the rules for the virtual sittings and the committee meetings. I am aware that there are people who are connected to this Legislature hybrid chamber who are not members of the Legislature. Those people are entitled to observe the proceedings as they would have in a physical sitting, but cannot participate. Furthermore, you are humbly requested to remain muted at all times and not to switch on the camera. Members are requested to always keep their microphones and videos on mute when not speaking, as this helps to prevent noise, echo, and disruptions from background noise around you. Members must keep cell phones and other devices on silent at all times. And we've seen yesterday how oftentimes it is not happening even in the House, honourable members. Kindly indicate to the speaker via message in the chat box or the raise of your hand option when you would want to be recognized. And as a word of advice, members are requested to always check the appropriateness of the background for their videos and also to dress decently. The Microsoft Teams platform can only accommodate 1,000 people at this stage, and the proceedings are being streamed live on YouTube to accommodate those who cannot be accommodated in the Teams platform. Honourable members, I do note that the House really does look empty today. There are more members on virtual today. Honourable Stevenson, I don't see anyone. I don't know who is the duty whip here. Is it Honourable Bonyan? I don't know, but really seemingly most members are today and even yesterday opted for the virtual. If that could have been the indication, then possibly we could have just had a virtual sitting. But be that as it may, when your majority of members are in your virtual. We will still continue with the business of the day, and we will first start with the motions. I have notices of motions. I have 3 that I have received. The first one being from Honourable Stevenson, Honourable Dial, and Honourable Fihlane. We are requesting those that are in the House to please come up to the podium and to present their motions. I will now call upon Honourable Stevenson. Over to you.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and good afternoon to the members of the House and those who are connecting virtually. I hereby give notice that I will move in terms of Rule 131 of the Standing Rules, that this House, noting 1, that the Russian invasion of Ukraine will have dire economic consequences flowing from this war and will be felt throughout the world, including our province of the Eastern Cape. That the Eastern Cape unemployment rate stands at 47%, the highest in South Africa, and the war in Ukraine will be a hindrance to our efforts to retain jobs, create jobs, and attract more investment. 3, that the escalating crude oil prices due to the war in effect means South Africans will have to fork out more for fuel, triggering rising transport costs for food, commercial and industrial goods. This will directly impact on households and businesses already under pressure and battered from 2 years of pandemic lockdowns and slow economic growth, along with the additional hardship of a pending 9.6% electricity price rise. That Eskom uses diesel to generate emergency electricity, which will also be significantly impacted by these rising fuel costs, possibly leading to extended blackouts with knock-on impact on job losses. That Russia is the world's largest exporter of synthetic fertilizers, accounting for 14% of the global market. Disruptions in supply are already being felt, and this could possibly impact on the Eastern Cape agricultural sector. That in 2020, South African exports to Russia and Ukraine was valued at 4.1 billion, while wheat and grain imports to South Africa from the Ukraine and Russia was valued at 2.3 billion. Noting 7, that Russia and Ukraine account for 30% of the global wheat exports, 14% of global maize exports, 32% of global barley exports, and 60% of global sunflower oil. That South Africa and Ukraine import 10% of South Africa's citrus products, and lemons and pear exports from the Eastern Cape are already being impacted upon. Noting 9, that the war in Ukraine is having an impact on existing supply chains, affecting small, medium, and commercial agriculture producers, amongst others, in the Eastern Cape, which in turn will impact on the sectorial value chains. That all the above factors can result in a higher inflation and interest rate climate with severe negative consequences for consumers that will exacerbate poverty levels and hunger in the Eastern Cape. Noting 11, that the tragic humanitarian crisis that is taking place in Ukraine will have a knock-on impact on the people of the Eastern Cape that could fuel unrest and protests unless this war is ended. Therefore resolves that the provincial government commissions without delay an economic impact assessment report of how the war in Ukraine can and will affect the Eastern Cape economy and the adverse impact on the people of the province, along with possible steps to mitigate against rising food prices. That the report contains at a minimum, all the risks to the Eastern Cape economy and those associated with increased poverty levels, along with any opportunities and possible solutions. And resolves 3, that the economic impact assessment report be tabled for consideration in the Portfolio Committee of the Office of the Premier and then in the House at the earliest convenience, so all parties are in sync with the efforts to mitigate against the consequences of this war on the people of the Eastern Cape. I so move. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Stevenson. It is noted, and the motion will then be debated at a later stage in accordance with Rule 133, subsection 1. We'll now call upon Honourable Dial. I presume that Honourable Dial is on virtual. Can the Secretariat perhaps just assist if Honourable Dial is in the House? If not, then we will go over to Honourable Fischleine. Honourable Deputy Chief Whip.
Honourable Speaker.
Yes, Honourable Chief Whip.
Yes, it's the Chief Whip.
Oh.
Honourable Plan has tendered and followed has been deployed to the field. Honourable Speaker, I move without notice in terms of presentation that the House notes the attacks on long-term buses that occurred on RC that these buses were stolen on Saturday night and have suffered extensive damage while several passengers were injured. Recall that the attacks took place on the shores of the incident on the Equitable, where an okay was shot. Remember that attacks on transport the intimate out motor community give life to people, whether known or unknown to them. This is direct attack on private transport support urban areas such as Preston. Advocates for further investment in transport infrastructure that will aid the program to create an enabling platform for users. This will in turn provide greater access to public amenities and transport. As the department to deepen engagement with all transport stakeholders, such that we are able to provide a safe, integrated, affordable, and reliable public transport system in the country, in particular the Eastern Cape. Therefore, the House resolves to condemn the senseless violence and urge for any dispute or grievance to be resolved through mediation and negotiation. Urge law enforcement agencies to act swiftly in finding the culprits of the bus offense and ensure that they are brought to book as we draw near to the Easter season, when scores of families will be traveling by bus to and from other provinces. Implore the Department of Transport to ensure that people exercise their right to select their preferred mode of transport, and in dealing with criminal elements such as theft and intimidation, develop mechanisms which empower the protect commuters from undue pressure and potential injuries resulting from acts of violence and intimidation. I so move. Thanks, Madam.
Thank you, Honorable Chief Whip. Honorable members, I put the motion for adoption by the House. Thank you. There is no indication from the virtual. Yes. Can you hear me now? I think there's a problem. They must then just sort it out, or otherwise I can put on, but I'm not sure if my mic, if I unmute, if it won't interfere. I can just try. That is what will happen. I know it if I put on my. I think they must just. So it's this mic. Let's hope everybody can hear me. This one does not even. Can you hear me now? I hope so. Let's then go over to the members' statements. We have 3 that we have received from the Honorable.
Can someone please switch on the Advocate Richard's laptop, maybe, please?
We can hear you now, Maria. Ma'am, can hear you.
Turn to something with the speaker.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
But it's going to bring back the echo. Oh, there's a lot of attempts now. I hope I'm audible now. Honorable members, can you hear me now? Honorable members, we are just trying from this side, Chief Whip. Every time I open my device, there's an echo that takes place. I hope, can you hear me now? We will moving on to the member statements. Honorable Van Buchenrode, Honorable Maketa, and then Honorable Matkashela in that order. Those who are in the House will also just come forward. Over to you, Honorable Van Buchenrode, and please be reminded of the 3-minute rule.
Speaker, good afternoon. Acting Premier, MECs, members of the August House, ladies and gentlemen. On the 12th of February 2022, former Nelson Mandela Bay Councillor Minnie was shot in KwaNobuhle, Kariga area after he attended an AGM or BGM meeting of the ANC Ward 52, where he was threatened because of his personal preference to the run-up of the ANC 8th Provincial Congress. The following day, another Nelson Mandela Bay councillor, former councillor Boy, was shot and killed in KwaZakele, Gqeberha. On the 30th of January, an ANC Amatola district councillor, Ulashe, home was riddled with bullets and she's still in hiding, and the threat on her life is very real. To date, at least 23 people have been killed in political violence in this province. This act of criminality is a blatant disgrace of the rule of law and cannot be seen as an isolated incident, but it highlights the upward trend of political violence and killing in the build-up to the ANC next elective conference. Such behavior is not new in the Eastern Cape. How can we forget the Congress of 2017, the Festival of Chairs? At the end, the ANC members were rushed to hospital. What is extremely concerned, though, is the silence of the MEC responsible for safety. It's perhaps that she's too busy focusing on her own involvement in this factional battle, and that she's more concerned about keeping her own seat at the table than fulfilling her duty to ensure that safety of the people of the Eastern Cape. Furthermore, what is disappointing is that the Premier has shown weakness and not acting against this Premier, although time and again she provided him with just cause to do so. This House must not let the element prevail within our society. It must be condemned in the strongest possible term. The Bill of Rights enshrines that the right of every citizen to enable to express their political views. It cannot be something normal. After 27 years of democracy, people should not pay with their lives. It simply should not be acceptable in our society. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Van Buchenrode. Honorable Maketa.
Honorable Speaker, I am not sure, but I've raised my hand. It's a pity that Honorable Van Buchenrode will come to the podium already. It's Honorable Benjamin speaking.
Can we call Honorable Maketa?
Good afternoon, Speaker.
Yes, your 3 minutes starts now.
Okay, thanks, Speaker. Good afternoon to you, Speaker, and members of Parliament and staff. My voice is a bit problematic, but there's one thing I want to ask the Premier of the Eastern Cape, that is affecting the Buffalo City. Especially the
Honorable member, honorable member, your 3 minutes is up. Thank you, honorable member. Thank you. Your 3 minutes is up. I will now call upon Honorable Makashela, the Chief Whip. Your 3 minutes starts now, Honorable Chief Whip.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Good afternoon to you once more, the members of journalists and support staff. Honorable Speaker, in his memo entitled in which who were beyond was said, my mother, my father, if they of our ancestors, I would ask you cow oats. Now I ask you to submit it. My father and mother, yesterday zero, told for spears to spend. Today zero demand better. That's why I ask you to set those goals. Madam Chairman, Madam Speaker, and overall ANC policy document states the goal of and cast of strength, and that education shall be partner that equal for all children. Higher education and technical shall be all. I mean those state allowance and scholars on the basis of merit. It is in this context that the ANC applauds provincial government's 15 million rand intervention towards ensuring that the province's financial systematic to stand a chance in our institutions of this lifeline will contribute towards the education field historic debt, which continue to exist as next of the right and mind. This intervention will go a long way in promoting attainment of capacities needed to build the Eastern Cape through the prioritization of agriculture, science, technology, ICT, and engineering skills across the province. ANC appreciates provincial government concerted towards ensuring education through a similar intervention, 30 million with that certificate. The ANC fully supports the previous vision towards a way to industrial members and providing them opportunities in the site of ANC further involved into the lead to assist towards ensuring that the growth of the
My apologies, Chief Whip. Chief Whip, my apologies. Can you just hold on? There's a hand up, Honorable Kotoi.
Thank you, Speaker. Honorable Makashela is not audible. And there's this bad thing in the Azumba on this side. Undima ke no mamela speaker kakuhle ungakhange uhlambe nohlanga. Azumba kakuhle honorable Chief.
My apologies. Yes, we've also heard it. It comes and goes. Honorable Chief Whip, if you can quickly just wrap up because you've got a few seconds left. Where you are, your audio is very, very bad.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, there should be which is denied education, she's coming from movement. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Chief Whip. I hope that the Premier has listened and were able to get the grasp of what you were saying. Honorable Premier, or I'm not sure in the House, is there an acting Premier? Honorable Mvoko, are you the acting Premier? You've got 15 minutes to respond. You may indicate if there is specific MECs that you will assign a few minutes to. Your 15 minutes starts now. You may please come to the podium.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and members of the executive, members of the Provincial Legislature. I will ask the MEC for safety to speak about the part that talks about the work of the police in the investigations. And I will, on the water, yesterday the Premier did respond to this matter. Unfortunately, the member was not in the House because the Premier and the MEC for Kokta we actually had an opportunity to meet with the concerned groups, and there was a breakthrough that was reported by the Premier here yesterday. I suppose that there should be water now all over BCM. If not, I'm certain that in due course there will be water. I'm just going to leave it there because the Premier spoke at length on this one. Honorable Ngata would request Honorable Ngata, MEC Ngata, to speak on the billing system, MEC Gade to speak on education, the 1 million rand investigation, Honorable Nkomonye to speak on the, I don't know whether it was paraphernalia or whatever clothing that was there, but Honorable MEC Komonye will speak on the matter. But I just want to say, Honorable Speaker, I think the Honorable member that was talking about violence was trying to find a way of going to MEC Tikana Gotiwe and using all the incidents. I don't think that is a good way of doing things, because in all incidents of violence, the MEC does take the measures, in fact, in ensuring that there are investigations on all of this. And on the incidents that we're talking about, it is public knowledge that the matter was handed over and there's work being done. I think you are gunning for the MEC unfairly on this matter. Unfortunately, I don't think your time is very near of appointing your own MECs. And when that time comes, maybe in 20 years from now, you will know that it's not an easy thing to do. But you must go and you must try and get to be here and appoint your own MECs. So I will hand over to the MECs, Honorable Speaker, to respond to the matters as raised. Safe to say this one of the Honorable Member on violence, I don't think it deserves that much attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Acting Premier. MEC Ngata in that order, followed by MEC Gade, followed by MEC Komonye. MEC Ngata? Can we then go over to MEC Gade? And then followed by MEC Komonye.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker.
My apologies, MEC, if you can just take a seat here. Continue, MEC Ngata.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Greetings, people, to members of the Executive Council and honorable members, both those in the House and those that have joined virtually, and the government officials and other distinguished guests who are part of the proceedings. Thank you for the questions. Two questions by Honorable Maketa. I think that Honorable Mbogo is right. Both the Premier and myself, we responded to the question comprehensively. But because of its importance, I just want to admit that the issue of water crisis that has faced the area of PCM and the parts of Amatole is indeed regrettable, which was a result of a dispute between the Amatola board and the employees in the institution. And we expressed our apologies to the public for having gone through what they have gone through. For regard to water as life, and that it is important that citizens are not denied their rights to water. And therefore, but we acted, myself and Honorable Premier, working together with the Minister of Water and Sanitation, Minister Senzo Mtuno, to attend to the matter. And then 2 days ago, a settlement was reached, and workers are at work, and many areas have started to receive water already by yesterday. What is happening is that reservoirs that are in a more lower lying areas are the first ones that must start to fill. And therefore areas that are closer there will first receive water. And reservoirs that are located in the upper areas are taking long to fill up. That is why when I talk about Pakamisa, the residents there, Pakamisa Township, they will tell you the other part of the township has water, but the areas in the upper part of the township does not have water. And the members in the regional ministerial complex, they will tell you the same that they still don't have water. That is the process of the pumping water into various levels of reservoirs that is taking longer. I can assure that members and communities will receive water soon. And what we are will be given an undertaking by the minister, which will support the minister to ensure that governance mechanisms are strengthened and all district mechanisms are strengthened in the Amatola water, such that not again must the residents face what they have faced now. Because the crisis was in the main reflection of weaker mechanisms to resolve disputes. On the issue of rates, Honorable Speaker, I did interact almost about a year now with the municipality. I wrote to them because they are asserting that their rates are at inappropriate levels. And I said that it's important that we work collaboratively. They must produce a more scientific report that is benchmarked with other metros as a basis for any conclusion. That is the work that is still outstanding, which I will make a follow-up. It has taken longer than expected, and I know that this matter is a burning matter, and it's quite urgent that clarity is brought forth whether the rates that the municipalities is charging is indeed, an appropriate, to be paid by the residents. And that's all I can say on this, Peter. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Gade. Between you and MEC Komonye, you have collectively have got something like 8 minutes to share.
No, thanks, Honorable Speaker. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to the members in general. Just one response, Chair, is that we have got 2 investigations that are currently underway in St. John's College. The other one has been completed. The other one is underway. The first investigation that the Honorable Member was referring to is the one that deals with the investigation and marking, as St. John's is a marking center. The principal and the 4 teachers are undergoing facing disciplinary process on that one. So that one is safe. There is no problem about it. The 1 million rand that he is talking about, the Honorable Member. The other investigation that he is referring to that has got some snippets in the articles of the dispatch with the HOD is the one that we have completed, the holistic investigation about St. John's College, funding norms and all that stuff. So we would want to request that on that one we be allowed to go back to the committee and present a fully fleshed report on that one and engage extensively so that we can process it accordingly. Otherwise, we do know what the Honorable Member is raising, and we're pursuing the matter.
Thank you, MEC Gade. Over to you, MEC Komonye.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Good afternoon. Honorable Speaker, I would like to clarify that the delays in the procurement of the track suits, or let me just say attire, for the athletes that are now participating in the National Athletics Championships was as a result of a lapse in the contract, a transversal contract between a supplier and the National Department. However, on the 7th of March, the contract was then extended and clarity was sought by officials of the province with respect to the meaning of the contract itself. So that has led to the delays. And I can confirm that between the 7th and yesterday, there is an official that did not do what they were supposed to do. And I've instructed the HOD to deal with consequence management, as that is an administrative matter. Once again, on behalf of the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, I'd like to apologize to the province of the Eastern Cape, the parents and the athletes, for not having been dressed properly when the parade was done yesterday. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable MEC. That concludes the member statements. We will now come to the questions on the question paper. We have allocated an hour to deal with all the questions, noting that we have 51 questions. It's quite clear that we will not be able to conclude all of them. But we will start with the first question from Honorable Bese to the Premier, to the Acting Premier, MEC Mvoko. Yes, you are the Acting Premier. You've been appointed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'm certain that with this, the number of questions to the Premier, I'm going to take up the hour. On question 1, the reports from affected municipalities and provincial sector departments indicated that the following infrastructure was affected: provincial roads and bridges, municipal roads and bridges, housing partially and totally collapsed, electrical power infrastructure, health facilities, schools and hostels, community infrastructure such as churches, animals killed and crops damaged. 2 of question 1, the South African Weather Services are responsible for weather predictions, which are circulated to all municipalities as early warning systems. However, the province is still working with all relevant stakeholders to put in place early warning systems within communities to allow for timely detection and implementation of preparedness plans. 3, the following is the assistance provided by provincial government. The Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs is currently finalizing procurement of building materials for roofing for partially damaged housing for the most affected municipalities. That is OR Tambo, you have 50, Ndungwane village. In ADM, you have 20, Kiskamahook, and ADM being Amatola District Municipality, and BCMM, you have 8 in Timbaza. The Department of Human Settlements has assisted and submitted application for temporary structures for homeless families. The applications were submitted by Alfred Zot District Municipality, Amatola District Municipality, Buffalo City Metro, Krisani District Municipality, Chowkabi District Municipality, Sarah Bartman District Municipality, and OR Tambo District Municipality. Department is in the process of appointing NHBRC for the assessment and costing of partially damaged houses. Once the assessment report is received and funding allocation is approved by the National Department of Human Settlements, panel of contractors will be utilized to repair the houses. The Department of Human Settlements will appoint contractors for erection of temporary structures utilizing National Disaster Grant. SASSA and the Department of Social Development provided psychosocial support and counseling to affected families with all affected districts. They also provided school uniform to families which lost most of their belongings to flooding and storms. The Department of Health is attending to the repairs of health facilities affected. The department, assisted by the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, used artisans to repair minor damages. The Department of Education attended to minor repairs and cleaning to allow teaching and learning to continue. They also used in-house teams to clean up the debris. They used artisans from the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure for minor repairs. The department is currently busy with the procurement processes for the appointment of contractors to repair the damaged infrastructure. The Department of Transport, in-house resources have been assigned to areas where there was no access and accessibility restored in most areas. Where funding permits, the department redirected outsourced contractors to worst affected areas, currently finalizing the procurement. That's question one.
Thank you, Acting Premier. Honorable Bese, are you satisfied with the response? Honorable Acting Premier, question 2, also from Honorable Bese.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. On one of question 2, the total government investment in the 5 red hubs specially distributed throughout the province is 244.4 million rand, spread out from the financial year 2014 to 2022. Out of this expenditure, 93 million rand is the contribution from the Jobs Fund. On 2, yes, the location of the red hubs is in the deep rural space, which lacks opportunities of employment and active economic participation through entrepreneurship. In order to attract investors, the government participates in infrastructure development, and as such, these red hubs provide a variety of enterprises or commodities such as maize and maize products, potatoes, and high-value flours such as protein. 3, the government is transforming the red hubs to be farmer-driven demand aggregation centers in order to exploit public and private markets. This will be done throughout aggregation of food products which will be consumed by government markets such as the South African National Defence Force, Department of Social Development, Department of Education, Department of Health, and the Department of Correctional Services. A service level agreement has been concluded with the South African National Defence Force, and with the other departments, engagements are currently underway.
Thank you, Acting Premier. Honorable Bese, are you satisfied with the response?
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I'm quite happy with all that's what.
Thank you so much. Third question is from Honorable Anil Kumar, also to the Premier.
Thank you very much once more, Honorable Speaker. The Office of the Premier has played a significant role in providing adequate support to Stats SA team in the province by facilitating access for the team to present their plans and needs to the Executive Council and the Executive Council at Khotla, PDOC, and timeous bilateral with the Premier for feedback. The platforms created enabled that potential challenges were able to be addressed by leaders in government in all levels. The Premier visited the Stats SA offices in the province to interact with the staff on the ground to ascertain the levels of readiness for the mammoth task ahead. On 2, in the engagements referred to in 1, the government committed to support Team Stats SA to execute their census plan in the best possible way. I'm confident that the IGR platforms in place will enable swift action by all necessary departments, safety, home affairs, etc., should the need arise. We are also aware that Stats SA has an agreement with the UN Refugee Agency which enables them to work in partnership with all chairpersons of foreign nationals in the province. On 3, various platforms have been created wherein the Premier is mobilizing the people of the province in media platforms in order for them to get counted, including joint media briefings between the Office of the Premier and Stats SA during the official launch of the census in Gqeberha. It was also a resolution of the provincial government that in all public events, taking place while the census is still continuing. The message that our people should make it easy for Stats SA team to count them is a standing message.
Thank you, Honorable Acting Premier. Honorable Anil Kumar, are you satisfied with the response?
I am happy with the response, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Fourth question from Honorable Matiwane, also to the Premier.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
If
One,
you have some water there with you, Acting Premier.
unfortunately, I think I don't want to complain about water because it will come back to bite me when you guys don't have water here. Canbela, oh, okay, good.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
I can see, you still have 3 more to go.
Thank you.
It's-
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Advocate.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thanks for the water, Advocate Page. On 1A of question 4, business processes are continuously being reviewed to improve efficiency, and the improved processes are captured in standard operating procedures. Departments have service delivery improvement plans, and service standards are in place. Administrative delegations are also in place to promote decentralized decision-making at lower levels to ensure faster decision-making and approval of administrative processes. Automation is being increasingly adopted through systems such as e-recruitment, e-leave, etc. in the departments. And the disciplinary code B, the disciplinary code and procedures is being applied across all departments in the province. This is being monitored by the Office of the Premier on a quarterly basis, and the reports indicate that disciplinary action is indeed being applied in the province. Previous reports to the Legislature has also demonstrated this, and in order to support the application of the disciplinary code and procedure, regular training is provided in the province to ensure that the capacity is available to chair disciplinary hearings and to prosecute employees accused of misconduct. Thank you.
Thank you, Acting Premier. Honorable Matiwane, are you satisfied with the response? Can we then go over to question 5 from Honorable Stevenson, also to the Premier?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The establishment of the red tape reduction unit in the province depends on the realignment of the departmental structures, as it will have cost implications in terms of human resources, cost of employees, operational budget, functional programs, etc. However, the work related to red tape reduction have been carried out by Business Regulation Unit in the department and supported by Enterprise Development Directorate, insofar as programs impacting on SMEs and cooperatives are concerned. With the announcement in SONA by the President, the work related to red tape reduction or ease of doing business will now reside in the Presidency under a special unit that has been established. The Department of Small Business Development was a national department that has been driving the implementation of red tape reduction program and has since established an interdepartmental task team that comprises representatives from 9 provincial departments of economic development and national departments and other institutions. The work that was to be done included developing a national strategic framework for red tape reduction and programs. The Department of Small Business Development has continued to provide assistance to district municipalities in developing their red tape reduction programs in Limpopo, KZN, and the Northwest. 2, SALGA Eastern Cape has piloted the Municipal Investment Competitiveness Index as part of the ease of doing business in 2021 in 2 local municipalities, that is, Nguma Local Municipality and Mzimvubu Local Municipality, as part of pilot projects in the Eastern Cape Province. The draft report was to be shared with stakeholders on the 14th of March 2022. 3, there is work that is done at national level through the DTIC on the ease of doing business, where all the metropolitan municipalities participate as part of the World Bank initiative of 115 economies worldwide, and that serves as a barometer on the ease of doing business, and it's a comparative study at Buffalo City Metropolitan Municipality and Nelson Mandela Metropolitan Municipalities was participating in the study. They identified areas that include starting a business, getting a location, accessing finance, dealing with day-to-day operations, operating in a secure business environment. This at a subnational level, reports on ease of doing business are published by World Bank up to 2020 as the study has been discontinued as from 2021. 4, obstacles arise out of the long turnaround times in terms of spatial planning and land use management approvals and processing of permits, which also result in investors incurring additional costs. For those who want to start a business, there are company registration obstacles. The department has partnered with the CIPC to provide for registration of companies and other related company matters through DIDIT regional offices, as well services on wheels at different areas where there is no consultation, where there is consultation with stakeholders using the biometric scanner and laptops to serve clients to access CIPC services. 5, the investment one-stop shop serves the purpose of attending to the challenges that may be experienced by investors in setting up businesses in the province. The ECDC, East London IDZ, and Kucha Development Corporation continue to market the opportunities available in the province to lure investors. The other platform is an investment conference which is planned to market the province and create opportunities for local businesses to partner with potential investors.
Thank you, Acting Premier. Honorable Stevenson, are you satisfied with the response? Not a nod, I need you to verbalize that.
I am, thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Stevenson. Question 6, also from Honorable Stevenson to the Premier.
The Office of the Premier has strengthened the fight against fraud and corruption and established the Provincial Cross-Sectoral Anti-Corruption Forum. There has been establishment and development of the ethics management infrastructure in departments to complement anti-corruption measures by ensuring that no officials are trading with government. No department reflected officials actively trading with government in the last 3 quarters of 2021-22. There has been a reduction in the number of cases reported to the National Anti-Corruption Hotline and 90% closure of hotline cases across the province. On 2, 74 cases under investigation by 74 cases are under investigation by Provincial Anti-Corruption Investigation Unit. B, 2020-21 and 2021-22 financial breakdown, the traffic department cases under investigation for 2020-21 is 3 and 21-22 is 2 cases for the financial year. Department of Social Development, 1 under investigation on 2021 financial year. The Department of Transport under investigation is 2. National Prosecuting Authority is 1 case under investigation for the financial year 2020-21. 65 South African Police Services under investigation cases on 2020-21. 26, for that is 26. And for the 21-22 financial year, 39 cases. 3. In 2020-21 financial year, there were 17 arrests that were made by the SAPS Anti-Corruption Unit in the Eastern Cape. In the 2021-22 financial year, 8 arrests were made by the SAPS Anti-Corruption Unit in the Eastern Cape. There's a breakdown there. I don't think I would want to go through the breakdown of figures because it's straightforward. You would say transport 1, public 1, JCPS public, private. So it's a straightforward a table. 4, a new structure composed of private and public formations that were organized under business, civil society, and public sector was formed to replace the Anti-Corruption Council. The Provincial Sectoral Anti-Corruption Forum was thus established as a non-statutory structure for coordinating anti-corruption measures in the province. Thank you.
Thank you, Acting Premier. Honorable Stevenson, are you satisfied? Yes, Okay. Yes, you may ask a follow-up.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. My follow-up question relates to the... Thank you, Honourable Speaker. My follow-up question relates to the new cross-secretarial anti-corruption forum. The previous anti-corruption forum hardly ever met. So I don't know if the Honourable Acting Premier is in a position to answer this question, but is he aware if this new forum that's been formed is actually meeting? Thank you.
That's a totally new question that you are asking, Honourable Member. Your questions primarily deals with cases and arrest and the structure to coordinating. Now you are asking a totally new question.
It's question 4. Honourable Speaker, if you look at question 4, it asks about what structure has his office put in place with a view to coordinating the fight.
And the Acting Premier responded to that.
Yes. And now my follow-up is it meeting? That was the purpose of me asking that question, if there's a structure in place.
Acting Premier.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. I will get the information on the meetings of the Cross-Sectoral Anti-Corruption Forum and provide them to the Honourable Member. Thank you, Honourable Premier.
Thank you. Then your 7th question, Acting Premier, is from Honourable Banga to the Premier. That will be your last one.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. On one of question 7, the water outages would have damaged economic activities within the economic hubs. However, in the case of Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality, the businesses in the area have become reasonable water resilient as a result of the regular drought that have been experienced. The current situation is of great concern as it has spanned for almost 7 years already, which is one of the longest droughts in Nelson Mandela Bay according to South African Weather Services. 2, Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality has been having regular interactions with the NMB Business Chamber where the respective drought interventions have been shared. 3, the Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality has received concerns raised by councillors and the public on water quality matters. They have been addressed by operational adjustment to secure the water quality. 4, the high water consumption by residents of Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality has resulted in the intermittent water supply that is being experienced. Communication with the water users is to be reinforced to encourage them to use water sparingly. Coupled with this is the fact that the frequent water outages have contributed to the water quality problems experienced. The matter has, however, been addressed and additional measures have been put in place to reduce the risk of water quality failures. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Acting Premier. Honourable Banga, are you satisfied with the response? Seemingly not in the House. Thank you so much, Acting Premier. You can take your water. Yes. The 8th question is from Honourable Kotoi to the MEC responsible for cooperative governance and traditional affairs. Over to you, MEC Ngata. MEC of Kokta, MEC Ngata. The 8th question is awaiting your response.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. The response to the question is that firstly, the department has been advised of the matter through a formal correspondence from the municipality which we received on the 22nd of February. And as such, it is, we are fully aware of the allegations against the Speaker of the municipality. And the department has been advised by the municipality that the Committee of Council has been appointed to investigate the matter and later will inform the department about the outcomes of such investigation. And it must be noted that in terms of the code of conduct, the municipality should first conduct an investigation on any matter related to the breach of code of conduct of councillors and then report to the MEC for cocktail. The initiative by the municipality is therefore in line with the provisions of the Act in terms of the code of conduct. So in view of the contents of the correspondence from the municipality, the department is of the view that the municipality will probe all circumstances around this matter. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable Kotoy, are you satisfied with the responses? No response. The 9th question from Honourable Lelanga, also to the MEC responsible for cooperative governance and traditional affairs. MEC Ngata, over to you.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. The review of the provincial IGR strategy is in the amendment phase, led by the OTP, Office of the Premier, that is supported by Cocktail Statement. Okay. The next phase will be a consultation and approval, and the process to review the provincial IGR strategy is also aligned to the current amendments of IGR framework Act 2005, which is also a consultation phase led by National Cocktail. The timelines and the processes to implement the provincial IGR strategy is aligned to the amendments of IGR Framework Act to avoid provincial IGR strategy that is not aligned to the Amendment Act. Thank you.
Thank you, MEC. Honourable Lelanga, are you satisfied with the response?
Yes, Honourable Speaker, I'm highly satisfied with the response from that.
Thank you so much, Honourable Member. The 10th question is also from Honourable Lelanga to the MEC responsible for cooperative governance and traditional affairs. Over to you, MEC Ngata.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Honourable Member. The department does support the municipalities on revenue management and debt collection. As part of the support initiative, the department facilitates quarterly debt meetings with municipalities where in the municipality is expected to outline the manner in which they robustly implement their debt control and debt management policies in all their customers. Mentioned residents, business, organs of state, government, partners, etc., including councillors and officials. So in an endeavor to collect the revenue from councillors and officials, the municipalities are always sensitized of the code of conduct for councillors and officials, wherein they are not supposed to hold the municipality for more than 30 days. In that case, the municipalities implement strategies like planning self-reduction for officials and councillors. Thank you.
Thank you, MEC. Honourable Lelanga, are you satisfied with the response?
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I'm highly satisfied with the response from the
Thank you so much, Honourable Member. The 11th question is from Honourable Knudsen, also to the MEC responsible for cooperative governance and traditional affairs. MEC Ngata.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker and Member. According to the municipality, there was a variation order that is generated due to the extended excavation to reach the suitable level for deck and wall excavation. 200 million is the original project value, and already 136 million spent to date. The department has not been involved in the project. The department is not happy with the fact that 136 million has been spent to date and the project has been stalled and with no contractor on site. There are no penalties. And the department is of the view that when so much money has been spent, there ought to be accountability. The department is therefore of the view that the matter requires investigation and a report upon completion of the investigation will be provided. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable MEC. Honorable Knudsen, are you satisfied with the response?
I'm satisfied, thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Member. The 12th question also from Honourable Knudsen to the MEC responsible for cooperative governance and traditional affairs. MEC?
Yes, thank you, Honourable Speaker. Yes, the department has been informed of the recruitment process relating to the CFO and the municipal manager. And we have already appointed an investigation team. We have already appointed an investigation team so that we can access the files and get all relevant information to see if both we have the files, to see if there were interviews, who constituted the panel, and the scoring and all those issues. And the qualifications of the set of chairs and all that. So there is a team that is investigating now, and as soon as the investigation is completed, a report will be provided. Thank you.
Thank you, MEC.
And I've already returned to the honourable member indicating, because it's also returned me a letter written back to indicate the steps of the outline.
Honourable Knudsen, are you satisfied with the response? I know that the MEC broke up there towards the end of his response.
Yes, thank you, Honourable Speaker, and I did receive those comments back.
Thank you so much. The 13th question is from Honourable Kaleku to the MEC responsible for economic development, environmental affairs and tourism, MEC Mvoko.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I tried to appoint Honorable Kate as the acting MEC and he refused, so now I'm here as MEC for DD. Question 13, 1 of 13, the matters for both Stimulus Fund and LRED non-compliance have been referred to Provincial Treasury for technical opinion, and the department is awaiting feedback. On 2, Isikala Youth Fund was relocated to the office of the Premier. They would be in a position to provide information on youth beneficiation. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable MEC. Honourable Kaleku, are you satisfied with the response? Apologies. We'll go to the next question from Honourable Saziwa, also to the MEC responsible for economic development, environmental affairs and tourism, MEC Mvoko.
The department has, on 1 of question 14, the department has continued to work with Dr. Da and unlicensed cannabis growers in the Eastern Pondoland, providing information on the legislation for the industry, as well as possibilities of building the local value chain through innovation, thus developing new products into the food and cosmetic industry instead of medical sector. As such, a cannabis farmers workshop was held from the 26th to the 27th of October 2021 at Lusikisiki, led by Dr. Da. A presentation was delivered by DDIT on the existing collaboration with the Technology Innovation Agency to support innovation in the province. Cannabis is one of the commodities included in the collaboration as one of the priorities. A call for innovation ideas was issued in January and closed on the 25th of February 2022 and was shared with the cannabis producers WhatsApp group in the province. We shall be continuing with the work towards influencing the national legislation to allow for open field production of the crop, as the controlled environment should not be a requirement for Africa wholly. This has been lifted to be considered for inclusion in the cannabis master plan, which is in the final stages of development. On 2, serious beneficiation will be realized once the legislation allows open field production, thus providing for more rural producers into the industry. There's also an opportunity of establishing cannabis zones where a cluster of producers linked with a decentralized processing facility will be licensed accordingly for operation, but the legislation is yet to be finalized. However, regarding the hemp production, Dr. Dai is leading the primary production component, and with the establishment of producers, processing will come on stream as the innovation support is already in place for the new product development.
Thank you so much, Honorable MEC. Honorable Saziwa, are you satisfied with the response? Can we then go to question?
Honorable Speaker, about the response from the MEC. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Question 15 from Honorable Cowley, also to the MEC responsible for Economic Development, Environmental Affairs and Tourism. MEC Mvoko.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Environmental law enforcement officers, the vacancy rate in Sarah Bartman is 50% vacant, Amatole 20% vacant, OR Tambo 50% vacant, Alfred Nzo 20% vacant, Joe Klaibi 20% vacant, Krisani 40% vacant, SIU 40% vacant, head office 0% vacant, and the intention is to fill in all of these posts by the end of the financial year 2022-23. On B, biodiversity and conservation, the department together with DFFE has developed biodiversity management plans for certain species of both fauna and flora to ensure conservation and utilization of these species. DDIT is a legal agent in the implementation of the Albany Cycad BMP and Pelargonium BMP and reports to the Minister. In 2018, the MEC was requested by the Minister to develop Alloferox BMP, and together with DFFE, DDIT has finalized the process, and the BMP has been recommended and approved for implementation. DDIT will be the lead agent in the implementation of this BMP. Other BMPs implemented by the province include the white rhino and lion BMPs. On 2, environmental law enforcement, none are dedicated solely to coastal enforcement, as the mandate of the sub-program is too big and numbers of staff are too few to allow for specialization. So biodiversity and conservation is not DDIT is not the competent authority for management of indigenous forests, but the National Department of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment. 3, environmental law enforcement, 15 officers patrol the coastline as part of their enforcement mandate. 4 managers currently have coastal enforcement management as part of their job description. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, MEC Mvoko. Honorable Kaune, are you satisfied with the response?
Yes, thank you very much, Madam.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Question 16, thank you, MEC Mvoko. Question 16 from Honorable Matkubela to the MEC responsible for education. MEC Gade.
Thanks, Honorable Speaker. Once more, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to the House and the members. We have been able to secure sanity, Honorable Speaker, on this matter that relates to the systems of payment for the AAs and GSAs with the help of the Provincial Treasurer and Finance, and as such we are only owing now March, which must be due on the month end for their payment, and start a process of recruitment for the 3rd phase, which is supposed to be starting by April. So at least we have been able to cleanse that data and be able to work around the clock in ensuring that we deal with the issue of the deficiencies that were there. But part of the problems were relating to the system and the data that were given to our schools. But however, we have been able to deal with that now, hoping that in the third phase, which we will have to go back to the PESAL system after we have been able to cleanse up the data that the schools have been battling, which resulted into us being unable to pay in November and December, and ultimately pay some of the months in January. Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, MEC. Honorable Makubela, are you satisfied with the response? Oh, I did not know you in the House, Honorable Member. Can you please take the mic?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'm satisfied with the response from the Honorable MEC, but I would like him to assure this House that the Presidential Youth Empowerment Initiative Phase 3, that is expected to commence from the 1st of April 2022, these measures will be implemented so that the EAs and GAs won't experience the non-payment of their stipend again. Thank you.
Thank you. You do know that is a totally new question that you are posing to the MEC. Question 17 from Honorable Bonyana to the MEC responsible for education.
Thanks, Honorable Speaker. The department had received the representation by the school on the incomplete project. The current works in the school were suspended by the Rocky Trading Enterprise, the contractor that was appointed in 2019, due to the contractual dispute that the contractor has with the implementing agency, which is the OTP, as an implementing agent on this particular matter, which in the implementing, we subsequently to that, we then instituted an investigation through the SIU on the project itself and its own program, so that we can be able to get deeper to what exactly are the issues relating to that, Honorable Speaker. Then the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure has taken over the completion of that particular project through the call that we have made that all the suspended projects in 2022 financial year must go back with the hope that we will finish it within a due space of time.
Thank you. Honorable Bonyana, are you satisfied with the responses? Can the honorable member just receive a mic? I see that of...
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I am satisfied with the response. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member. Question 18 also from Honorable Bonyana to the MEC responsible for education, MEC Gade.
Once more, thanks, Honorable Speaker. The partnership is on school safety and informs the twinning of the schools with the nearest police stations as a direct response to the call that has been made by the Ministry on safety and liaison, that of building safe communities. So that program is directly linked to that one of safe schools. Schools have police officers allocated to different schools to ensure the safety of the school and also of the learners. Learners do not have to queue when they needed assistance from the police station. especially on cases relating to either policeism or cases that have something to do with the matter that is on hand. The department is aware of the incident that happens to the school and has also not been able to respond in time. In the past, due to the impact of the budget costs and the reprioritization in the support of COVID-19 then, Honorable Speaker. However, the project has been funded for this current financial year, and the contractors have been taken back.
Are you done? Thank you. Honorable Bonyana, are you satisfied with the response? Thank you so much, Honorable Member. The next question is from Honorable Saziwa to the MEC responsible for education. MEC Gade?
Thanks, Honorable Speaker. The department has not formally secured the site, but has engaged the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure with the view to acquire a site for the department, for the development of the district's offices in the PSJ then. But we have secured it now, Honorable Speaker, because it's a bit an information that was then this one. Whilst there is an intention to construct the offices and building for the purpose of the offices there, the modular structure for the district offices used will be provided by the 1st of June in 2022 to accommodate more staffing for the district purposes. Honorable Chair, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, MEC. Honorable Saziwa, are you satisfied with the response?
Honorable Speaker, yes, I am, but I'd love the MEC to have some time frames for the eventual construction of the office for Waterloo Coastal District Management.
Thank you. MEC? He's asking time frame because the last portion of the question asks, when will the construction for the above mentioned project start? He's asking just, not a specific date, but just a time frame.
Not between ourselves, thanks, Honorable Speaker, between ourselves and the Department of Public Works, because that assignment is with them, they have came back to us and give us an assurance that we'll be able to start the process, the professional work during the course of the financial year. But they have not yet finalized that particular process. But I can assure the House that it's one of the priorities that we have as between ourselves and the Department of Public Works, that we must prioritize Joe Gabi district offices and as well Port St. John's district offices, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, MEC. Can they hear now? Let me just find out. Honorable Mkhaga, are you satisfied with the response?
Honorable Speaker, there is no sign on, I'm not sure whether your connection is lost.
Someone remove me from the meeting, Ms. Thurman. I'm trying to reconnect.
Okay, let's go to question 21 from Honorable Anil Kumar, also to the MEC responsible for education.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Honorable Speaker. The Eastern Cape Department of Education has set up a number of platforms to foster and nurture the relations between the Department of Higher Education institutions, TVET colleges to be precise, and universities. The first one is with the Cape College and the Eastern Cape Advisory Council and also the stakeholders in trying to match up the demands and supply that the honorable member has actually alluded to. The second platform is that of the Eastern Cape Human Resource Council, Development Council, chaired by the MEC for Education, to be precise. The HRD Council strategy has been aligned increasingly in competitiveness and also to express the global production systems, as well as addressing the equity and reduction of the poverty, inequality throughout the province in particular and in the country in general. The Council prioritized the acceleration of the development to match the supply and demand for skills workforce, and also therefore adopted a diverse approach on the inclusiveness of the high and intermediate skills development. Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, MEC Gade. Honorable Anil Kumar, are you satisfied with the response?
Honorable Speaker, I think that question was from Honorable Mkhaha.
Where are we now? Was that question 20? Oh, I skipped 20. Oh my word, my apologies. Honorable Mkhaha, are you satisfied with the response? My apologies for that. Oh, okay. Then
Yes.
we'll go to.
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member. My apologies, Honorable Member, for not recognizing your question. Question 21, then, from Honorable Anil Kumar to the MEC responsible for education.
Once more, thanks, Honorable Speaker. The department provides itself on the role that is played by the Pandulwas Agricultural High School to unearth and nurture the prospective agriculturists and social scientists, agricultural economists as well, the horticulturists, agricultural estimates that will equitable to the country in general and also the province in particular in production enough of food as part of the ongoing strategy of both of the sector of education in that particular regard. The post of the farm manager became vacant when the Inchupet left the post in 2018, and the post has not been permanently filled since then. However, currently an acting farm manager is appointed in that particular post. The department has not been able to appoint the post of the non-teaching staff in schools over the past 5 years due to the shrinking cost of the employees' budget. Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, MEC. Honorable Anil Kumar, are you satisfied with the response?
Madam Speaker, I think I am happy with the response. I just want to request to the MEC because last month I have visited the school. I could not see the effect of that farm manager which had 250 hectares of the land. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Honorable Member. We go to question 22 from Honorable Kasim to the MEC responsible for education. Over to you, MEC Gade.
Thanks, Honorable Speaker, once more. Let me try to summarize a bit longish this explanation. One is that the department has undertaken a process of staff migration from the old to the new organizational structure, which has been completed now. Some staff members mostly are at salary level 5, which have not been placed, and their data is being consolidated. Also, with the plans to deploy them in schools, in April, the department will receive a new budget and reprioritization will be to consider if the budget allows the filling of the non-teaching staff in some of the schools, which also will require to consider the farm manager as part of it. And again, Honorable Chair, we do have an implementation plan in that particular regard, which I would request Honorable Speaker to give it to the member without reading it, in case I could consume much of your time.
Is that on question 3 dealt with, question 4, the financial turnaround strategy and the turnaround plan, all of that? Honorable, thank you. Honorable Kasim, are you satisfied with the response?
Honorable Speaker, I'm a little bit confused because I don't believe that the MEC was raising the correct response. My question wasn't with respect to filling of teacher vacancies, it was with respect to the department's overdrawn budget. I'm not sure that is an error from the MEC.
It's question 22 deals with the budget overdrawn. It deals with the reasons for under expenditure. It deals with the turnaround strategy and the financial turnaround plan. That is question 22, Honorable MEC. And then question 23 is something else that deals with the LTSM. MEC, can we just give MEC a minute, a few seconds? He's got lots of papers in front of him. He's just trying to sort through them.
Honorable Speaker, I don't see it.
Honorable Kasim, Honorable Gade seemingly does not have the a copy with him, the response, but you have received the response. The written responses have all been sent. Whilst he's looking, can we possibly go to question 23 and possibly after that he may come back? Yes, Honorable Kasim?
Honorable Speaker, I do have the responses. I can ask my follow-up question on question 22 if that's fine.
I will allow you that then, Honorable Kasim.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you, Honorable MEC, for the responses that were in front of me. Honorable Speaker, through you to the Honorable MEC. Honorable MEC, the sketch document referred to in terms of the ECDOE turnaround strategy document. I did not receive with the response, so will still come through, but my follow-up question with respect to the 5.7 billion rand that the Department of Education applied for additional funding from Provincial Treasury. It doesn't match to the response, Honorable MEC, which talked about a budget shortfall of around between just over 2.3 or 2.4 billion rand if I add the COE, goods and services, and the transfers and subsidies. Why the department apply for an additional 5.7 billion rand if shortfall is only around 2.3 to 2.4 billion rand?
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Gade. That is the follow-up question now.
Yes, it's a follow-up question. I think I would have to reconcile my information, Honorable Speaker, with due respect, precisely because there is a process that we were engaging on the issue that he has raised, which of course we have picked it up as part of a gross mistake that should have been avoided by both the Chief Directorate that is concerned and also the branch of the finance in relation to the allocation themselves. Is part of the work that I would request with the question that previously have been lost in the paperwork that I have, Honorable Speaker. But I agree with the honourable member that there is some work that have to be done, in particular on that question that he has raised. It's not sufficient enough.
Thank you, MEC Kade. Can we go to question 23, also from Honorable Kasim?
On this one, Honorable Speaker, the question was around the under expenditure, if my documentation is not misleading me again.
It's the LTSM. It's the LTSM and the budget for the 21-22, 22-23 financial years per district. And then the LTSM budget per learner per quintile, and then the total budget that is required for the LTSM, and how many schools receive textbooks, and whether the department has achieved universal coverage. That's the essence of the 5 questions.
Honorable Speaker, allow me to I will forward the concrete response on it. But from where I am seated, Honorable Speaker, we have been able to make sure that by now we have been able to deliver the learner support material in the context of the stationery as per the specification that has been drawn, and also the delivery note that we have issued to school. What is left, Honorable Speaker, are the textbooks on the basis of it being part of the learner support material budget that has been allocated to it. In terms of the work plan and operational plan on that task, we were anticipating to deliver all the what we call the top-ups of the textbooks not later than the end of March. Yes, of course, they have already arrived in the warehouses in the province. Today I was talking to the project manager on that, but the handicap that we have was to ensure that they are packed according to the specification of the schools that have been requiring particular writers and authors of the books, and also not to mismatch in terms of the packages that are required at that particular level. We do have a court order by now, which of yesterday, in relation to this matter, from the Grahamstown High Court, requesting us to change the timelines that we were going to execute the plan, to bring it a bit earlier, which in terms of the discussion I had with the HOD this morning, we are going to meet those timelines as requested, precisely because the books are already in the warehouses. It's just a question of making back orders accordingly to schools and take them back to where they are. But in terms of the specifics, because I don't have it here by now, I don't want to waste much of your time looking for that document within the documents, Chair.
Thank you, MEC Gada. Honorable Kasim, are you satisfied with the response? The MEC acknowledges that he does not have the full response with him.
Yes. Honorable Speaker, a follow-up question based on the response to Chad's. Can I proceed?
Yes, you may proceed, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. To the Honorable MEC. Honorable MEC, what concerns me most is that we have still not achieved universal coverage, which is one textbook per learner per subject per grade. The last time that the department ordered a full complement of textbooks per grade per subject was in 2016, and those textbooks have a lifespan of 5 years. So that would have ended in 2021. We are now in 2022. Then, Honorable MEC, does the department plan on ordering
Thank you, Honorable Member. MEC Gada, it's actually asking again question 5, but now with the specific by when.
In terms of the supply, in terms of the learner support material procurement policy in the sector, we are supposed to be engaged by now so that by September, October, November, you are delivering. That's what the policy indicates. Because of the experience we have, Honorable Speaker, of the past 5 months, we then agreed that it will be imperative that whilst we are delivering the top-ups of the textbooks, to be precise, due to the call that has been made, we are as well starting the process for 2021-2022 financial year procurement of the learner support material. The Honourable Member is correct. The dispensation of 2017-2018 learner support material is complete by now. So we are starting a new process now that must cover up all the scope and disciplines in terms of ensuring that each learner does have a textbook across the subjects, across the grades, as it is anticipated. But it is a function that is expected to be happening before the shutdown of this year. Having learned a lot in terms of the transition that we were engaged on this current year, because part of the crisis that we experienced on this particular matter was the change of the mode of procurement of the learner support material that resulted into schools not receiving the books at a time when they were supposed to get it. So some of those lessons, we have taken them back, and I can concretely say we have already started in terms of preparing for the 2022 now, and in terms of the time frames that have been set, in terms of the management plan of the procurement of the learner support material, we are going to meet the target, especially that we don't have a crisis this time around of not having the budget for it. Because part of the problem that we have in the past 5 months was on how do you change the past using the present. Are you comfortable with the audit reports that are flowing from AG in relation to this particular matter? And the accruals, therefore, that arise out of the learner support material, contributing to 1 billion plus of the accrual of the department. So I'm then saying it's a mitigating factor that we have learned a lesson out of it, and I don't think we'll land there again come October, November, which is the time that we must close shop in relation to the learner support procurement in the provincial government space. Honourable Speaker.
Thank you so much. Thank you, MEC Gada. That concludes the questions on the question paper, and we will now request the Secretary to read the first order of the day.
Tabling of vote number 9, Economic Development, Environmental Affairs and Tourism.
Before I call the MEC, I wish to advise all members of the Executive that the WIPS Committee has allocated 15 minutes to each member of the Executive to present their policy speeches. I now call upon the member of the Executive Council responsible for the Department of Economic Development, Environmental Affairs and Tourism to present his 2022-23 policy speech in terms of Rule 164. Over to you, MEC Mvoko.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Your 15 minutes starts now.
I must declare up front that I will need 2 extra minutes. Honourable Speaker, honourable members of the Executive Council, honourable members of the Legislature, HODs present, CEOs of our public entities, guests and ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. In the times of our days, we have been blessed with many interesting moments and sometimes disappointing ones. Ours is always to marshal the forces of change, to marshal the forces of development and growth with a sense of positive hope to build a credible vision and to meticulously implement the destiny we seek to build together as a country and as a province. We set sail from the advent of our democratic breakthrough to build an equitable democratic order based on non-racialism, non-sexism, and achieving a prosperous society. Our belief to realize that vision has needed more than mere faith, but well-calculated measures to restore our dignities and sustain sound livelihoods for all. Efforts and initiatives to be implemented during this year obviously derived and aligned from the SONA, SOPA, and the 2022 budget tabling will reflect our collective respect to our electorate and the rest of the country, that the vision charted for the better life for all is still as balanced as was before and is gaining traction over the successive installations of democratic governments up to this very day. Even during the current tough economic times, we remain resolute to our goal of a better life for all, and we shall act with dedication, integrity, and purpose, utilizing all funding at our disposal in the most prudent manner. Honorable members, in line with our mandate, the department has identified 3 high-impact programs to anchor the work of the department for the 2022-23 financial year. And these are the township and rural economy, revitalization of industrial parks, and climate change support. We believe that these programs will play a significant role towards supporting the development of the Eastern Cape we all want and strive for. Honorable members, the implementation of the township and rural economy program is critical for economic development. It's critical for reduced unemployment and eradication of poverty in our province, especially in a rural province such as the Eastern Cape. To fulfill this objective, work is underway for the development of the Eastern Cape Township and rural economy, rural economy policy and legislation. A policy document has been developed for inputs by stakeholders in an endeavor to develop a green paper that will be gazetted by the first quarter of the financial year. This will be followed by a white paper as we drive policy towards the development of a legislative framework for township and rural economy for the province. To ensure effective support to township and rural enterprises, a provincial township and rural economy strategic framework will be developed to provide support for the needs of the micro, small, and medium enterprises located in these areas by pursuing an integrated strategy across all spheres of government to tackle the challenges of infrastructure development, market access, financial support, technology, and institutional support. To ensure a successful rollout of this program, the department will strengthen collaborations and partnerships with key role players such as municipalities, COCTA, Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, and Dr. Da, to mention but a few. Honorable Speaker, we're at an advanced stage of the rollout of the informal business support program that we initiated last year. With a budget of 40 million rand, the program focused on 4 identified sectors, namely clothing and textile, manufacturing, automotive aftermarket support interventions, and the services sector. This program will see about 1,000 micro and informal businesses supported with equipment, machinery, and inputs at approximately 30,000 per successful applicant. The disbursements are currently being processed by the ECDC to all successful applicants. The need to support for the micro and informal business is growing as demonstrated by the number of applicants received. And it will be important to continue with the financial and non-financial support to this sector as it is the most vulnerable compared to the formal sector. We are, in this regard, partnering with the Department of Small Business Development to implement the informal business support programs through its agency, focusing on training and capacity building programs. Effective implementation of the township and rural economy will go a long way in alleviating disparities and bring about hope to our people who are found at the peripherals of our mainstream economy. On the revitalization of state-owned industrial parks, honorable members, the state-owned industrial parks are critical for economic development. They are critical for job creation and well as serving as hubs of economic activities across the province. These parks will play a pivotal role in the integration of various regions in the economic mainstream. These parks need to be upgraded to have world-class infrastructure and services in order to retain and attract current and future industrial investors in the province. We've been following a phased approach towards the development of these parks through support from the Department of Trade, Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, and allocations from the province through the Provincial Economic Stimulus Fund. Significant work has been done at all of these industrial parks for the critical upgrading of infrastructure. It's pleasing to report that the first phase of upgrades at the industrial parks have been concluded. As each of these parks are at different stages of development, work is continuing for phase 2 on bulk infrastructure upgrades in Timbaza and Tata, while phase 2 on building refurbishments has been completed for Vulindlela. Thus far, a total of 478 construction jobs have been created and 24 local SMMEs have been supported. On the 24th of March 2022, the contractor will be handing over to the department phase 1, which is the bulk civil and electrical infrastructure of the Somerset East Industrial Park. Honorable Speaker, the level of government investment has been substantial. However, these industrial parks must be fully functional and ready for investors. The province will ensure the needed attention is provided on the infrastructure to conclude these investments. Alongside the development of the industrial park master plans, we will work on packaging investment value chains and engaging with private sector partners to attract investors to these parks. On climate change support program, Honorable Speaker, there has been an outcry from the municipalities for assistance on awareness, mitigation, and leading the climate change efforts across the province. The Eastern Cape is an area of convergence of 8 of the country's 9 biomes, making it the most diverse of South Africa's provinces. It is known that the protected area system is inadequate to conserve the Eastern Cape's internationally recognized natural capital, and the protected area estate needs to be expanded. The stewardship is the primary mechanism at our disposal for expansion of the protected areas estate. This involves declaration of land owned by the private and community sectors for conservation purposes. The ECPTA's stewardship program has been responsible for increasing the proportion of provincial land under conservation from only 3.9% in 2000 to 7.1% in 2020. Ongoing expansion efforts are a vital component of the Eastern Cape's efforts to combat and mitigate climate change. Honorable Speaker, we are pleased to report that the Kruger Development Corporation and Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality are in the process of developing a 15 megaliters per day desalination plant. As you know, dam levels are critically low, and the desalination plant will assist the Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality in diversifying its water supply to the Kruger SEZ business and households in the Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality. The department will, in the forthcoming financial year, embark on the development of a climate change program in OR Tambo region, focusing on disaster risk reduction and ecosystem-based adaptation. An amount of 7.6 million rand has been set aside for this program, which will prioritize the following: A, the greenhouse gas mitigation with a focus on waste and air quality management, the water sector, specifically ecosystem-based adaptation to ensure disaster risk reduction. C, environmental health and education in support of community empowerment and raising awareness on climate change impacts and opportunities. And lastly, building community resilience with a core principle to co-create projects with communities. As climate change escalates in priority, it becomes even more important to support our economy with reliable low-carbon sources of energy. Over the next few years, we expect significant new investment in wind and solar farms, embedded and self-generation, green hydrogen and other low-carbon sources. Trace Independent Power Producer Support Program, the department will continue the work of supporting new energy projects and additional electricity infrastructure. Together with the SEZs and ECDC, the department will work to ensure that our province harnesses even more value chain and socio-economic opportunities in this growing sector. For example, plans are ahead to attract renewable energy investment into the East London IDZ. In this regard, the East London IDZ is looking at developing infrastructure for solar energy generation on its phase 1 precinct to enable global competitiveness of its precinct in line with sustainability requirements of various multinational investors. The East London IDZ continues to look at implementation partners for its wind farm to be located in Tabozuko, and is further courting an investor for the development of a photovoltaic energy generation plant also in Tabozuko. Honorable Speaker, the three flagship high-impact programs that I have highlighted above are earmarked to drive and advance our work. We will, honorable members, continue with the work that we had started to achieve economic reconstruction and recovery and job creation, but this work cannot be done independently or within our efforts, our own efforts. The attainment of our goals will require us to work together as government departments, the private sector, and our social partners. Honorable Speaker, after a tumultuous 2 years, we'll continue to soldier on in our efforts to enable economic growth and job creation in the Eastern Cape. Through sharpening our focus on investment attraction, economic infrastructure development, support to SMMEs, and priority sectors as some of the drivers and enablers in this long and hard journey of economic recovery and growth. Our SEZs and the ECDC continue to be at the forefront of our investment attraction efforts. Honorable Speaker, we can proudly announce that the East London ITZ has attracted 6 new investors with investment value of 958 million. Over and above this, the zone opened and operationalized 12 new factories, creating much-needed economic activity in our province. In addition, the CDC has secured 7 new investors with investment value of over 160 million rand. These investments brought a combined total private sector investment of more than 3 billion rand, mainly on plant and machinery. To ensure increased impetus on its investment attraction activities, the East London IDZ will be strengthening market intelligence on value propositions, research, and lobbying for initiatives that will improve regional sector competitiveness and strengthen local value chains. Specific focus will be placed on high-impact investment opportunities in the ICT and renewable energy sectors. Honorable Speaker, we'll be allocating 81 million rand to the ECDC in support of the implementation of their turnaround strategy, focused primarily on their property portfolio, which will support their property modernization and development program. An amount of 32 million rand is allocated for loan recapitalization for the benefit of SMMEs and cooperatives. Our investments in the Eastern Cape film industry are continuing to reap an economic rewards. The ECDC will be receiving 5 million rand worth of investment for the film industry to continue attracting productions as they expose the Eastern Cape as both a film and a tourism destination of choice. Honorable Speaker, we are excited that in partnership with a South African film production company, we are planning to commence with the establishment of a film studio in the Buffalo City area in order to create a platform to promote film productions from the Eastern Cape. The ACDC will be adding a film festival chapter to the Grahamstown Arts Festival in 2022-23. We believe that the Eastern Cape Film Fund is a catalyst for high return and a high job creating investment. Through a partnership with DTIC and through the ECDC, the department will operationalize the Invest SA one-stop shop in order to streamline services.
You have 1 minute remaining, MEC.
Let me business regulation and governance legislature review to further enhance the work of the department and its entities. We're in the process of reviewing several pieces of legislation. These are the Eastern Cape Environmental Management Bill, the Eastern Cape Parks and Tourism Bill, the Eastern Cape Development Corporation Act, gambling regulations, liquor licenses. Honorable Speaker, as part of the rationalization of public entities, the department will continue with the merging of the Eastern Cape Gambling Board and the Eastern Cape Liquor Board to increase efficiencies. I would like to thank all the members of the executive for the Eastern Cape for their support, led by the Honorable Premier. Some gratitude goes to the Oversight Committee members who have ensured that we execute our mandate optimally. I'd also like to extend a word of gratitude to the head of department, his senior management, and the entire staff in the department supported by our public entities. A word of special gratitude to the citizens of the Eastern Cape, the business community, and all our stakeholders. I hereby table the annual performance plans of the department and our 3C entities, the corporate plans of our 3D enterprises, and the operational plan for the department. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable MEC. The policy speech and all the tabled documents stand referred to the Portfolio Committee responsible for the subject matter of the vote in terms of Rule 161, subsection 2. I will now ask the Secretary to read the second order of the day.
Tabling of vote number 10, transport.
I call upon the member of the Executive Council responsible for the Department of Transport to present a 2022-23 policy speech in terms of Rule 160, subsection 4. Over to you, MEC Tikane Kotiwe. Your 15 minutes starts now.
Honorable Speaker, Deputy Speaker, Honorable Premier in absentia, Honorable members, senior managers of the provincial government, ladies and gentlemen, I greet you all. Honorable Speaker, may I first express my gratitude for the opportunity presented to me at this moment to rise and address this august House on the key policy priorities and service delivery interventions that the department has identified in respect to challenges facing our people throughout the Eastern Cape. However, I must be swift, ladies and gentlemen, to mention at the very outset that our operating environment is repeatedly reminding us of great thinkers before us who observed that nothing is certain since everything is subject to change, with only change itself remaining constant and certain. We witness in our times serious changes that after our operating environment in a manner we never imagined. These changes include the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus, climate change, volatilities, expanding settlements, and other, all growing against the dwindling public purse that over the years appear to be available less and less. As far back as 2008, Dr. Mampele Rampele convened a senior team that sought to paint a picture of what our country would look like in 2020. A statement from Dino Keng's scenario report stands out for me, and I quote, "A core aspect of our current reality is that we have a weak state with a declining capacity to address our critical challenges. Any suggestion that the solution to our problem lies in the state with its already proven lack of capacity, assuming an even greater interventionist role in the development of the economy and society, is misplaced and a recipe for disaster. At the same time, it is worrying that civil society has since 1994 tended to adopt a very statist view of the country with the expectation that government should do everything. We believe that this is too a recipe for disaster. In reflection of the external environment within which we operate, the reality of global warming have given this department, and I believe all other provincial departments, a rude awakening. The extent of infrastructure damage that has been recorded in the province requires a robust and adopted strategy to ensuring that we put sustainable measures in place to mitigate the risk of recurrence. Honorable members, our Honorable Premier reiterated that we as government need to be deliberate in addressing the 47% unemployment rate in the province. The window opportunity in cementing a solid, sustainable economic future for generations to come is growing narrow. We have reached a new appreciation for the technology sector, which continues to give optimism through the opportunities we have experienced on our strategic journey. We have made deliberate efforts of exploring technology innovations to diversity our service model, making it more relevant to this era. The prospect of leveraging this opportunity in driving service excellence have been appreciated and also formed motivation for the plans which we'll be presenting to you all today. It is in the context of these realities in 2022 that the department has heeded and embraced the call made by our glorious movement. We embrace the government priority of investing more in building the capacity of the state as a guiding lamp to our strategic vision in the coming new financial year. Honorable Speaker and members, The department has decided to spend more efforts in building more enabled machinery that will be able to respond to the daunting socio-economic challenges facing our people as exacerbated by the changes exemplified above. The policy speech I am presenting here today, therefore, is premised on these fundamental objectives. My departure point, honorable members, is that the department, recognizing the importance of organizational culture as the engine that will propel any of the plans that we commit in this year. A reflection in the leadership and discipline paradigm of the department has been priority and a common theme that the top management and senior management have been charged with. We will drive a transformation agenda to ensure that compliance and good governance became the centerpiece in improving organizational performance overall in interest of service delivery. The development of management in this paradigm will find resonance in the contracting processes as a fundamental area to drive the strategies that we commit to in this year. Noting the challenges brought about by coronavirus as well as the continued wastage occasioned by regular trips between various service delivery points and our head office, only to sign and collect memoranda and various documents. The department decided in 2021-2022 financial year to continue driving a digital transformation agenda introduced in preceding year. This time, the department developed an electronic document management system, which is proving to be a worthy investment on how it has already changed the culture in the department and fast-tracking the processes of documents in bid to improve service delivery, which brought about a dramatic turnaround time on document submission for approval. In a bid to keep up the changes in and demands of our operating environment, members, the department will continue with the radical digital transformation approach. One other challenge the department has noted is the difficulty it has been having with regards to performance information management, a challenge that has been observed by the external auditors, leading to a consistent decline in the quality of the departmental audit outcomes. It is due to this fact that the department therefore will, in the coming financial year, aim in improving monitoring and evaluation on its performance, both from institutional and individual point of view, in order to bring into synchrony with our financial performance. We will also be moving in advancing the plans for the automation of key processes within the learner transport service, which has been a thorn in the flesh in the past years, especially in relation to our accounting and administrative system, with the Auditor General continuously identifying it as a major contributing factor to our declining audit outcomes. The department will also develop a business case for an incident case management system to support virtual reporting potholes, accidents, and any other matter within the department's mandate, while also helping to transparently monitor the lead times to their resolution. The conversation that this has sparked in the department is the change management approach for managing the transition from an overly manual process of administration to one that is automated with very minimal manual integration. We will, in this year, investigate the feasibility of centralizing some administration functions of the department into a shared service supported by automated system. The feasibility will also advise how to rationalize the cost for compensation of employees, ensure that more budget is directed towards more service delivery focused programs. The research work will provide cost-benefit analysis of technology investment to realize the rationalization of cost of operations and provide a blueprint of the strategy to follow for realization of these benefits beyond 2022-2023. Honorable Speaker, one capacity challenge that the department has realized as hampering the ability to deliver quality and timely transport services in the province is the lack of skilled and knowledgeable personnel in critical areas of our programs. We have realized that they stem from a number of industry-related factors. These include, but not limited to, the industry requirement for technical staff to be employed in certain positions, hence drive in coming financial year will be fully capacitated our Center of Excellence in craft drainage. Other notable factors include the changes in the operating environment, the department which either to require new technologies to improve. In the current financial year, the department awarded 97 bursaries to external students who are pursuing transport-related qualifications in aviation, maritime, civil engineering, and transport management. The department is engaging further to resolve the stakeholder-related challenges surrounding the Provincial Traffic College, which we announced earlier. We have commenced with the training of 25 traffic officers as assessor, and 9 of them were trained as moderators, of which 4 were found to be competent. Honorable Speaker and members, with regard to transport infrastructure, the department has indeed lived mostly up to its plans in that considerable progress has been recorded on various major infrastructure investment projects as announced in the 2021-22 policy speech, which includes the last phase of the N2 to Sipetu Hospital in Dabangulu currently is at 30% complete. The reseal of DR 0801 to Matatelin to Maluti Reseal Alfred Nzo, which is 60% complete. Phase 2 of the Willowvale to Dwesa Road right up to Msengeni Junction is currently at 82% complete. Phase 1 of the Hluleka Nature Reserve project currently at 90% complete. Service level agreement with Inokum Kijima for phase 4 of the Thornhill and Solana Reserve to 12 kilometers, that is currently at 95%. The Stags Freight to Mlamli Hospital Gravel Road upgrade of 12 kilometers, that includes 4 bridges, is at 35% complete, and the Elliotdale to Madwaleni Hospital Road has been completed thus far. We have noted the challenges engulfing some of these projects, some of which are affected by our internal capacity, as well as stakeholder challenges that we are busy addressing. Honorable members, as mentioned above, the effects of climate change have been felt mostly by the department, and thus it's worth mentioning that most of the work we did in the current financial year has been hit hard by the recent summer rains that began in September 2021. As we assess the damage caused by the recent rains to the roads and bridges, including those roads worked on by municipalities, the cost to repair the damage in January was sitting at 2.6 billion. To this end, an application for funding has been made through the Disaster Management Center as well as the National Department of Transport. For the 2022-2023 financial year, the department is allocated 1.8 billion for all infrastructure projects, and thus will continue with its resolve to improve mobility and accessibility. In this regard, work that we started in the current financial year in various roads will continue even into the new year. These include the last 10 kilometers of the Tsendane to Koloka Road, phase 3 of Makusheni to Mzamba Road, which constitute 8.5 on R61, the first 20 kilometers of Clark-Barre Road from the R61 site. Furthermore, the second phase of Hluleka Nature Reserve is currently at an award stage. This will complete the surfacing of the entire length to the nature reserve. As we resolve to take projects to completion, phase 3 of Willowvale to Dosa will go out to tender in the 3rd quarter of the new financial year. Similarly, we will continue with the reseal projects in our portfolio that include 30.5 kilometers from Magoshen to Flagstaff, the 53.5 kilometers from Grahamstown to Port Alfred Road, and the road between Butterworth and Tsendane. Honorable members, with respect to road maintenance, we will be regraveling approximately 625 kilometers. Our in-house construction unit will also continue with projects that include Kanzibe Hospital Road, Coffee Bay to Zitulele Hospital Road, Kofimba Baskiton, R72 to Hamburg Road, as well as paving in Kumbu, assisted by appointed panel of contractors. As part of our intergovernmental relations work and partnerships, 9 belly bridges were completed through the agreement between the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, and the South African. Honorable Speaker, in the State of the Province address, the Honorable Premier mentioned the 18 projects worth 7 billion that are currently in the province. The National Minister of Transport, Honorable Mbalula, has accepted our request for Sanral to take over 5 major roads in the province, and these are Vigisville to Coffee Bay, Saturn's Neck, Ngcobo to Elliot, Maluti to Kasha's Neck, R61 to Kala via Ngocha, and the rest of R61, that is from Port St. John's to Mtavuma River. Honorable Speaker, With regard to transport operations, the department is experiencing challenges in transportation of learners, mainly occasioned by the fact that the commencement of the current contract coincided with the serious outbreak of the coronavirus, which necessitated certain level of control of movement through regulations due to minimum number of learners that had to be at school on daily basis given the gradual opening of teaching and learning. Other observing learners were added with no additional budget. However, when then teaching and learning started full swing, our administrative system could not offload these additional learners in time. As a result, the department ended up transporting 125,000 against the budgeted target of 103 learners. Honorable Speaker, great strides have been made to establish a rail committee led by the department and comprises of PRASA, Transnet, National Department of Transport, municipalities, and the Eastern Cape Chamber of Businesses. This intended to revitalize the rail system in the province, and to this end, PRASA and Transnet will be presenting their business case for the province in the first quarter of the financial year. Considering that Maibuye Transport Corporation is the department's entity, the department will formulate a strategy to recapitalize the corporation as part of ensuring it is sustainable going forward. Honorable members, the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure as the implementing agent recently appointed a contractor for the construction of the fire station at the Mthatha Airport at a cost of 35 million. A pay parking system will also be installed in the coming financial year to enhance revenue generation. These interventions, Honorable Speaker, are part of the departmental plans to apply for the CAA Category 6 license as part of enticing bigger airlines to enable increased competition.
Thank you. Honorable MEC, your time is up, but you can conclude.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me thank the support from the members of the executive led by the Premier, the members of the Portfolio Committee, the head of department and the team for the support they've given to me. And also I would like to tabulate the budget of the department, which is distributed to administration 500 million, 236 transport infrastructure, which includes roads 2,208,000,000, and transport operations at a cost of 1,446,000,000, community-based program at 663 million, which give us a total budget of 5,161,557. Honorable Deputy Speaker, I hereby present the department's policy speech, annual performance plan, operational plan, and corporate plans for the Maibuye Bus Corporation. I thank you.
The policy speech and all table documents stand referred to the Portfolio Committee responsible for the subject of the vote in terms of Rule 161, subsection 2. I will now call upon the Secretary to read the third order of the day.
Tabling of budget votes, 11, human settlements.
I will now call upon the Honorable MEC, Honorable Constable.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, the Speaker, the Chair of Chairs and Deputy Chair of Chairs of the Legislature, the Honorable Premier, Honorable Mabuyane, the Chief Whip of the Majority Party, Comrade Loyiso Maqashela, colleagues in the Executive Council, honorable members of the Provincial Legislature, members of our glorious movement, the African National Congress, and the Alliance components, members of other political parties in the Legislature, the esteemed traditional leadership, our social partners and members of the private sector, including the media, SCOPA, and the Portfolio Committee on Human Settlements, senior government officials who are watching through departmental social media, the distinguished guests, and the communities watching over this session in their various areas. I greet you all in the revolutionary name of our hard-earned democracy. Honorable Deputy Speaker and members of the House, citizens of the province, on behalf of the Department of Human Settlements, allow me to extend my greetings. It is indeed an honor to address this august house, tabling the 2022-23 budget and policy speech. Honorable Deputy Speaker, this year marks the centenary since the death of one of the Eastern Cape's noble sons, Reverend John Knox Bokwe, in 1922. In adding to being celebrated, a hymn writer, an enthusiastic singer, and a choir master, he was a diligent journalist who assisted with the publication of the Lovedale's press, the Kefa Express, which is Isikidimi magazine in 1870s, and later worked for Imvo Zabantsundu newspaper. One of the revered work includes his contribution to the story of Prophet Nzikana in the native language. Reverend Bokwe's centenary should serve as a reminder to us that we stand in the shoulders of the giants. He was a symbol of humility, an oracle of wisdom and moral compass. Many of our leaders look up to him. Honorable Deputy Speaker, this year has been declared as the year of unity and renewal to defend and advance South Africans' democratic gains. The provision of shelter for those in dire need is one of those key democratic gains that the country prides itself with. Not only does that ensure that one leads a normal life, but it restores our people's dignity. In the 28 years of democracy, as the sector, we have built over 5 million low-cost houses across the country, and the province accounts for more than 500,000 of those. Honorable members and Honorable Deputy Speaker, our founding fathers of the democracy were intentional in including clause number 9 of the Freedom Charter, which states that there shall be houses, security and comfort. This clause would later be cardinal pillar upon which we base our work as the Department of Human Settlements. And we commence this year having learned from the past and being optimistic of the future. Honorable Deputy Speaker, we are alive to many challenges that have come as a result of the global pandemic and the arrival of the COVID-19 in our shores. These include the shrinkage in the economic performance, the shrinkage in fiscal allocation as a result of the reprioritization, and subsequently, systems were put in place to ensure that we perform optimally with the limited resources at our disposal. Honorable Deputy Speaker, as we commemorate the Human Rights Month, we also wish to reinforce our commitment to the Bill of Rights. These rights include, amongst others, human dignity. Everyone has inherent dignity and must have their dignity protected. There is no greater way to protect one's dignity than providing one with shelter. From the onset, human beings came into existence with a habitat already in place for them to exist. You can trace that to creation. Even scientific theories attest to that fact. Our mandate is of that great magnitude as human settlements. Members, as the Department of Human Settlements, we derive our mandate from the Constitution and take pride in one of our goals to restore human dignity. To fulfill operational Siakatala, we care. Honorable Deputy Speaker, we owe it to the people of this province to improve their lives. Our forefathers have suffered a lot, and it cannot be that we subject the people of this province to the same suffering. We are compelled to do our honest part in removing them from the trenches of poverty because of the blood spilled by those who came before us. I will quote a liberation icon, Tatu Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, when he says, open quotes, "Overcoming poverty is not a gesture of charity, but an act of justice. It is protection of a fundamental human right, the right to dignity and decent life." Close quote. Nakulo nyaka ke sizosebenza nzima ukuqinisekisa ukuba siyakhathala somlomo wendlu wisomthetho. Honorable Deputy Speaker, at the beginning of this term, we set very clear principles to guide the execution of our responsibilities to realize departmental outcomes. And indeed, as the department, we have shaped our unique path guided by our brand promise, transforming communities together. The focus will be on changing lives of our people by providing quality homes to the needy, the destitute, and most vulnerable beneficiaries, as in intervention which rescues helpless people from the trenches of poverty and homelessness. We are making an impact in changing people's lives. As Mamuno Gaile Nsentwana of Mkanduli, ona mashumaspozo eminyaka, wati, andizange ndiyibone into yokuba kungakho abantu abanothatha uxanduva olunje enzele mna nosapho lwam into enje yokundakhela indlu yokuhlala. Ndiswele amazwi ukunibulela xa ninonke. Wanga ke uThixo nganisikelela nonke nabantu nabanye bandipha impahla zezindlu ndithi kuni enkosi kakhulu. The department has once developed a turnaround strategy which is being implemented to strengthen the systems and processes of the department for efficiency and optimum performance. This strategy is beginning to yield the desired results, which will show in the ensuing years. The department has not surrendered any money from Human Settlements Development Grant allocation for 2021-2022. Nisekona ndawuvangezana. Honorable members and Deputy Speaker, in the period under review, we have delivered through our low-cost subsidy programs 5,939 units and 5,219 serviced sites, with 4,497 rural and 426 urban across the province. On military veterans, the department is committed to build 240 housing units across the province. I would like to state that the work has commenced and there are units in various stages, particularly in Nelson Mandela in respect of 3491 housing project. In this project, 159 military veterans have been approved and 40 units are at various stages. Honorable members, it is important to highlight that the department is confronted with challenges of bulk infrastructure, especially in urban areas in municipalities, especially in Buffalo City, Makana, Ingubayethemba, to mention just but a few, which affected our delivery performance. In Buffalo City municipality, 134 military veterans have been approved to access the housing opportunities. Furthermore, 30 service sites in East London, military veterans projects in Gombo have been identified and are being enrolled. A contractor has been appointed to commence with construction anytime. We are engaging municipalities to ensure that the set targets are met in the 2022-23 financial year. To accelerate the delivery of housing units for military veterans, the department is developing a military veterans policy to inform strategies that will be developed to accelerate the delivery of housing units for military veterans. Deputy Speaker, we committed to ratify pre- and post-1994 defective houses this financial year, and we have ratified a total number of 991 units in the following areas: Buffalo City, Chris Hani, Nelson Mandela, and OR Tambo. On title deeds, on this one, the department is prioritizing issuing of the title deeds. The title deeds restoration project was initiated to deal with the backlog and thus ensuring access to adequate housing and full ownership, thus restoring the dignity of the people of this province. Honorable members, this year our target for social housing has not been met due to financial constraints faced by the social housing institutions. The department is engaging this institution who is an implementing agent on the performance of the social housing institutions and the new funding model. The finance-linked individual subsidy program provides affordable first-time homeowners opportunities to gap market who generally find it hard to qualify for housing finance. I'm happy to announce that this year, 191 households receive financial assistance to purchase residential properties through FLISP program. Honorable members and Deputy Speaker, 32 beneficiaries were assisted through the individual subsidy program. We have since taken a policy decision.
Sorry, Honorable MEC, your time is saved. It's a pity I cannot see who is this person who is disturbing the proceedings here. I think the table staff can just check. I request everyone to mute the mic. The session is still on. Please, let's respect the House. Proceed, Honorable MEC.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Honorable members and Deputy Speaker, as part of the department's programs to continuously use and apply innovative, sustainable building technologies, 4 projects have been supported in Gangelizwe 200, Port St. John's 321, Airport 52, and Canton and C 10. Honorable members and Deputy Speaker, the department welcomes the newly appointed Rental Housing Tribunal. In the year under review, the department has resolved 205 rental dispute cases. The department continues to educate beneficiaries on the preemptive right clause, which states that the house cannot be sold within the first 8 years of occupation, and should the beneficiary's economic status improve, they should first offer that house back to the department. We'll strengthen our public education and awareness to increase visibility of human settlement products and services in transforming our communities through available media platforms and public participation programs. The social facilitation program has been able to reach 4,485 housing beneficiaries through consumer education and supported 14 project steering committees in this regard. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the Premier in his State of the Province address has indicated that youth development is a priority of this government. We would like to report that currently there are 112 learners enrolled for apprenticeship program in technical and vocational and training placement in Alfred Ndo, Amatole Krisani, and Departmental municipalities. We have also, through our Youth Brigade program, created 150 empowerment opportunities for young people in Amatole, Sarabatman, and Buffalo City Metro. Honorable Deputy Speaker, in this period under review, the department targeted to recruit 45 unemployed youth graduates for the internship programs and managed to contract 33 youth for a period of 24 months, and 8 additional interns will commence after the approval of the Construction Education and Training Authority. Furthermore, 32 TVET learners are currently enrolled for experiential learning for a period of 18 months. However, the shrinking fiscus has had a negative impact in meeting the targets. Hence, the department continues collaborating with Construction Education and Training Authority, CETA, and the Office of the Premier to meet the set targets. Honorable Deputy Speaker and honorable members, we appreciate the intention we are making to small, medium, and micro enterprises, the SMMEs, through the provision of work opportunities, facilitation of training and development in partnership with the NHBRC, that is National Home Builders Registration Council, training institutions such as Small Enterprise Development Agency, which is CETA, and Construction Education and Training Authority, CETA, will continue doing so. In increasing participation of SMMEs in human settlement development, the department has now included 30% clause in the terms of reference in all projects exceeding 30 million, if feasible, of course. The department is mindful of the recent Constitutional Court judgment on the matter between the Minister of Finance versus Agribusiness NPC 2022 in respect of validity and lawfulness of the preferential procurement regulations of 2017. The outsource of the,
Honorable MEC?
The outcome of this judgment stipulates that
Sorry,
tenders...
Honorable MEC? Can you just go to your conclusion, Honorable?
Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Because your time is almost gone.
Wow. Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Oh man, as I conclude, Deputy Speaker, as I conclude,
Yes.
the creation of human settlements opportunities is one of the most important deliverables in this government committed itself to do. During this term, not only are we bound by Section 26 and Chapter 2 of the South African Constitution and the Freedom Charter as promised, but this needs also clearly recognized in the international human rights law, the International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights, which make provision for the right of everyone to an adequate standard of living. Honorable Deputy Speaker, given the high demand of housing in rural areas in our province, we commit to accelerating rural housing delivery informed by high poverty thresholds. We have made significant strides in achieving this in the province. We have mobilized all resources at our disposal, human as well as financial capital, to address the imbalances created by the apartheid laws of segregation. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the Minister has charged us to speed up the housing delivery in this province,
Honorable
as it is urgent business.
Honorable MEC?
It is urgent business.
Yes, just go to that I am now tabling. I'm now tabling.
Yeah. Just before that, for a second, I wish to share this quote. Okay, Honorable Deputy Speaker, I hereby table the policy speech, service delivery improvement plan, operational plan, and the annual performance plan to the Department of Human Settlement with Annexure A attached, which lists the revised issues from approved strategic plan. However, I do want to thank the Honorable Premier, my colleagues in the Executive Council, the HOD, the DG, and the officials of the Department of Human Settlement, including the staff of the department, as they are the ones that are driving all the programs of the department. I thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Ndiyabulela kakhulu.
Enkosi kakhulu Mphathiswa. That is the tabling. And masikubulele Mphathiswa ngokuthi thaca oluhlahlo lwabo mali. Sinethemba lokokuba lawuthi lidluliselwe kwikomiti ejongene ngqo nalo mcimbi ngakumbi kule vote ngokomhlathi wekhulu elinamashumi amathandathu ananye umhlathana wesibini. Sizawucela ke so Siba asifundele ingxoxo yesithathu elandelayo.
Ukwandlalwa kwesabelo mali sevoti ye-12 uNondyebo wephondo.
Thank you very much. I will now call upon the Honorable MEC Finance to present the policy speech. Honorable Mvo.
Thank you very much.
15 minutes,
Honorable Deputy Speaker. Usandityala imizuzu emibini yezolo, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Andikayilibala imizuzu yezolo. Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker, honorable members of the Executive Council, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Speaker, today I table in this House of the Vote 12 budget of the Eastern Cape Provincial Treasury for 2022-23. This year's budget vote takes into consideration the fiscal and governance concerns that were highlighted during the State of the Province address and the budget speech for the 2022-23 financial year. In the recent past, our economy has been vulnerable and was further compounded by the impact of COVID-19. This economic shock and others before it posed a challenge and has necessitated adjustments in the provincial treasury strategy and plans as we forge ahead. As set out in our 2020 to 2025 strategic plan and in line with our mandate, we'll continue to provide strategic and technical leadership in the allocation, management, and utilization of financial resources in order to improve the quality of life in the province. The 2023-22-23 financial year represents the third year of the 5-year planning cycle towards realizing our strategic priorities outlined in our 2020-25 strategic plan. The priorities are fiscal consolidation, supply chain management reforms, infrastructure support, and governance and accountability. On fiscal consolidation, with the economic outlook still highly uncertain and economic activity restricted to contain the spread of the coronavirus, appropriate measures had to be taken to stabilize provincial finances. Budget ceilings were implemented by reprioritizing funds to key service delivery areas from the non-core items in line with agreed sector priorities, whilst also improving governance and oversight in the province. The department will continue to implement the zero-based budgeting and expenditure performance reviews to improve provincial spending outcomes while strengthening allocative efficacy. Provincial Treasury, working with National Treasury, is continuing with the work on the review of the Equitable share formula. It's important that the formula is responsive to differences, especially in poor and rural provinces. As part of this formula review related to the health component, provinces like the Eastern Cape have benefited from work done so far. The wage bill continues to pose a challenge to the fiscus. Spending ceilings are being maintained throughout various measures that include tight management of the compensation of employees in the province. Provincial Treasury participates in the Provincial Coordinating Monitoring Team, where posts are validated against service delivery models and organograms. Service delivery models and organograms are also validated in an effort to manage compensation of employees. We support the exercises undertaken by the Office of the Premier to assist provincial departments to review their organizational structure. Honorable Speaker, will continue with the implementation of zero-based budgeting that we wanted to introduce in 2020 to help align spending with strategic outcomes and service delivery priorities. This will assist in eliminating inefficiencies on expenditure while strengthening allocative efficacy. The department is continuing with the public expenditure review exercise to assess the extent to which departmental policies influence spending on cost drivers so that it can inform more efficient future resource allocation. Also part of the performance expenditure review exercise is an intention to cut down on the use of consultants to realize savings. The provincial government has also endorsed a turnaround plan for departments of education and health to curtail the fiscal surge. This is fully supported by the provincial treasury in order to enable sustainable resource management of the province. It's on these grounds that we have intervention teams with the Department of Health and for being the first one to have enjoyed the support, who are replicating this kind of support to the Department of Education. The work we are doing to support the Department of Health is beginning to show encouraging signs in terms of cash flow, cash outflows, and halting exponential growth in the number of cases that we have begun to see in the past 3 years. A sustainable way to deal with this issue, though, remains the improvements in the levels of health care. Hence, we call on all that are trusted with this responsibility to help in this regard. As indicated in the budget speech last week, the turnaround plan that we are rolling out in the Department of Health is exploring opportunities for efficiencies across the operational systems, including payroll management, supply chain management system, service optimization, as well as automation of key business processes. These efficiencies and others will help us deal decisively with the abnormal accruals with visible benefits in reducing the creditor payment period. Included in the provincial appropriation bill is funding specifically and exclusively set aside to mitigate the scourge of medico-legal claims. Honorable Speaker, the constrained fiscal environment that has created limited space to maneuver further forces us to strengthen our strategic collective to collect revenue. In the 2022-23 financial year, Provincial Treasury will continue supporting the 4 revenue departments to maximize the collection of the much-needed revenue as outlined in their revenue plans. Honourable members, the implementation of the rationalization of public entities report is in full swing after it was presented to OXCO and approved for implementation. Measures have been put in place to closely monitor the implementation of the project in order to maximize economic benefits to the province. Provincial Treasury will continue to support the rationalization whilst the Office of the Premier is taking over the next stage of the project to deal specifically with legislation mandates of this process. In line with this, we are committed to strengthening the Eastern Cape Development Corporation as a strategic vehicle for provincial economic growth and job creation plans. For the province to excel, we must continue to improve governance in public entities. Engagements with provincial departments through top management, OTP clusters, project steering committee meetings, and project management offices within the departments will continue to support this project to find finality. The drive to implement the local economic development procurement framework remains one of the key focus areas of the provincial treasury support to provincial departments to promote local content and procurement of local suppliers. The intention is to ensure maximum retention of provincial fiscal spend in the province and to stabilize vulnerable and declining sectors as a result of the economic crisis and deindustrialization. Furthermore, the implementation of the framework will assist to protect and safeguard productive capacity of existing industries and retain current jobs. A key to that will be to expand and increase the productive capacity of SMEs and cooperatives in the province. The department, working in conjunction with Dr. Da and DIDIT, is supporting the Department of Health with the procurement of agricultural products for patient food that is to be supplied by provincial farmers. The farmers will supply their primary products to food processing facilities that are being established throughout the province. And health is in the process of issuing a bid in this regard. Education is also targeted in this initiative for school nutrition. The implementation of the invoice tracking application that assists suppliers to inquire about outstanding invoices online is ongoing. The drive to improve procurement efficiency through transversal contracts, capacitation of suppliers, and opportunities available to enable SMEs to do business with government, including administrative support and registration on the central database and logis, continues throughout the financial year. Currently, honorable members, 66% of the province's procurement spend benefits local suppliers, and we commit to continue supporting departments to maintain the threshold in the 2022-23 financial year. The provincial departments are implementing the LEBTPF on both open bids and quotation basis and have awarded contracts to local suppliers. On infrastructure support, honorable members, infrastructure delivery is at the center of the province's plans for growth stimulation. In this regard, we will continue with the implementation of the infrastructure delivery management system that promotes and institutionalizes the implementation of well-defined infrastructure processes in order to achieve effective infrastructure delivery in all spheres of government. Using the B5 checklist, which reflects the regionalized approach, projects are thus to be packaged per region with all associated supporting projects and sectors involved so that the projects are able to deliver as optimally as possible. The regional approach has already been customized into the provincial infrastructure delivery management system. Honorable members, good governance and accountability are vital ingredients in the service delivery value chain. We are in continued interaction with the departments to entrench this key aspect of their service delivery within their business operations through the implementation of the financial management accountability framework. This exercise will ultimately institutionalize discipline in the management of public resources and ensure that departments and entities move towards sustainable financial maturity. We observed an improvement in the 2020-21 provincial audit outcomes compared to the previous financial year. In this regard, 4 of the 14 departments from 2 have now received clean audit outcomes, 7 have received unqualified audit opinion, while 3 have received qualified audit opinion. We are also encouraged by the performance of public entities. Of the 11 that we have in the province, 7 received clean audit outcomes and 4 were unqualified with findings. Provincial Treasury conducted virtual engagements with municipalities to monitor audit action plans and assess the effectiveness of the internal controls. The objective of those engagements was to provide municipalities with early warning signals to alert on the matters that can potentially lead to undesirable audit outcomes or regressions in the province. It is notable that in the last municipal audit, there were 8 improvements in municipal audit outcomes in the province and only one regression. The province has formulated a strategy to support municipalities to improve audit outcomes on the implementation of differentiated approach. Out of the 36 delegated municipalities, 27 municipalities were assessed to be funded in terms of Section 18 of the MFMA. This was an improvement from the funded position reported during the 2021-22 MTREF draft table budget assessment. All municipalities that adopted unfunded budget turnaround plans to ensure that they address the root causes which will lead them to adopting unfunded budgets. These turnaround plans were monitored on a monthly basis. I must stress that corrupt activities and inefficiencies that are found in the system are eating away all the gains that we have made as this democratic government. There is persistent decay of provincial and municipal infrastructure, despite the deployment of fiscal and monetary resources to address these matters year in and year out. We have transitioned the age of hope, not without the glimpse of potential pitfalls ahead of us, but with the certainty that no hurdles are taller than our determination to succeed as a society. As we borrow from the former President Thabo Mbeki, I quote, "Gloom and despondency have never defeated adversity. Trying times need courage and resilience. Our strength as a people is not tested during the best of times." Close quote. We shall prevail. To fuel this resolve, I'm tabling the annual performance plan together with the following budget allocations that are required in the 2023 financial year. We commit to use these resources economically to finance the commitments we have outlined. I would like to thank all the members of the Executive Council, the Eastern Cape, as led by the Honorable Premier, for the guidance and support. The same gratitude goes to the Oversight Committee members who have ensured that we execute our mandate optimally. I want to thank the HOD and the team of Treasury for doing a sterling job of ensuring that the department is able to discharge its responsibility diligently. The hopes and aspirations of our people rest in your shoulders. I thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Nkosi kakhulu Mphathiswa. Ubusashiyeke nomzuzu kodwa masibulele. Enkosi kakhulu ingxelo nomgaqo ohlahlo lwabomali kunye nawo onke amaxwebhu athwe thaca ayakuthi adluliselwe kwikomiti ejongelwe oko ngokomgqaliselo wekhulu elinama-61 nomhlathana wesibini. Mandicele ke usosiba asifundele isigunyaziso sesihlanu sosuku.
Ukwandlalwa kwesabelo mali sevoti ye-14 ezemidlalo, ulonwabo, ubugcisa nenkcubeko.
Ndizawucela umphathiswa obekekileyo wezemidlalo, ubugcisa nenkcubeko kweli phondo athi thaca ingxelo yakhe yohlahlo lwabomali. Over to you, Honorable MEC.
Nkosi kakhulu Sekela Somlomo, ndibulela nakusosiba ngosifunda kamandi kangaka isiXhosa. Mandivele ndibulise wena Sekela Somlomo kwenzela into yobana ndonke ixesha le 15 minutes iyasisokolisa. Ndiyabulela lithuba lokudakangca phambi kwale ndlu wisomthetho umgaqo-nkqubo nezicwangciso zalo nyaka mali zesebe lezemidlalo, ulonwabo, ubugcisa nenkcubeko kwiphondo laseMpuma Kapa. Isebe lithwaliswe uxanduva lokwakha isizwe esimanyeneyo, esiphumelelayo, esidlalayo kwakunye nesizidlayo ngemvelaphi nenkcubeko yaso. The mandate of our department is very broad and diverse, but it can be summarized into building a united, social, cohesive, intellectually and physically active nation that is proud of its heritage with a vibrant social culture and a thriving creative economy. At times, maybe because of this intangible nature, many have minimized the importance of this mandate, especially when comparing it with the tangible deliverables like roads, water, and nezinye. To the extent, yesterday, Honorable Banga even said this is not a service delivery department, and I don't think that's entirely true. Sekela Somlomo bekekileyo, we-social cohesion ayonto unoyibamba ngesandla okanye uyibone ngamehlo. Kodwa ukumanyana koluntu, kwehlisa izinga lezixholo-xholo, uxhatshazwa koomama nabantwana, kusetyenziswa gwenxa kotywala neziyobisi nezinye izinto ezininzi eziyimikhuba emibi ekuhlaleni. We therefore cannot overstate the importance of the work we do as the department. An active nation is a healthy nation. A reading nation is an intellectually developed nation. A creative nation is an innovative nation. The creative and sporting industries are recognized worldwide as important contributors to the economy, and a number of people derive means of livelihood from these industries. Honorable Deputy Speaker, it is not our intention to suggest that our department is more important than others, but to say the work we do is of equal importance. We are simply restating our mandate as both the context of the plans we are tabling and as a justification for the budget we continue to receive. Of course, we would be grateful for an additional budget, given how extensive our mandate is. Our toolkit includes legislative functioning of programs, policies, and the work of associated institutions, the likes of the Eastern Cape Provincial Arts and Culture Council, MPDC, the East London Guild Theatre, Eastern Cape Provincial Heritage Resource Authority, Eastern Cape Provincial Geographical Names Council, and the Provincial Councils for Libraries and Archives. Honorable Speaker, through the implementation of the provincial social cohesion strategy, we will drive various campaigns against racism, sexism, homophobia, xenophobia, and gender-based violence and femicide. We will use arts and sport to ensure the sharing of common spaces across race, class, gender, including the promotion and distribution of art forms that facilitate healing, nation building, and dialogue. Our decision around where to invest resources is strongly guided by community needs. Our strategic principles, a clear evidence-based and trends impacting service delivery at a ward community level. With respect to arts, culture, and heritage, Honorable Deputy Speaker, our investment in cultural and creative industries seeks to unlock the potential of this sector, to create the conditions for success, to develop and keep our talent here at home. Our investment in this regard is anchored on 3 areas, namely funding for projects, training, and capacity building, platforms, and access to markets. This investment is intended to stimulate and support emergence of creative enterprises with a focus on women, youth, and rural areas. As a department, Honorable Deputy Speaker, we are evolving from just merely being a role of primary service provider of arts, culture, and heritage opportunities. Over the coming years, we are investing in institutions like art centers, theaters, museums, ECPEC, and many others to ensure that these institutions are fully functional, well-governed, and they have modern equipment and necessary capabilities to support community-driven arts and culture initiatives. Our approach is further underpinned by partnerships and collaborations with local artists, community organizations, academic institutions, and TREPs, private enterprises, the different spheres of government, and other agencies. With respect to the development and promotion of creative industries, Honorable Deputy Speaker, allow me to summarize this part by saying we remain committed in the establishment of the Eastern Cape Performing Arts Institute, and the first step has been taken by the declaration of the Mandela Bay Theatre Complex, and in this coming financial year, we will be joining the East London Guild Theatre to then formulate what we will call the Eastern Cape Institute for Performing Arts. The declaration is assisting us in ensuring that the work of MTPC, the Guild Theatre, and our 17 arts centers across the province is seen and is spread across the province at large. In this financial year, as part of our drive towards moving the arts into the digital arena, we will equip the East London Guild Theatre with state-of-the-art digital equipment to record, edit, and upload arts programs online. As part of the continued resourcing of art centers, we have launched the Eastern Cape Community Arts Festival on the 5th of March, and this program will be an annual signature festival of all art centers across the province. We will also be refurbishing the infrastructure Maxasibeni and Komani art centers through upgrading of sanitation facilities and the refurbishments of the roofs from thatched to aesthetic. We will continue with the festivals that you normally know, the Maskandi Festival, Isingasetu, and the many more that we do. However, we want to redesign these festivals so that they attract more audiences and benefit more artists across the province. We will also continue to support the National Arts Festival, and this is our pride. This year, the Arts Festival will then be done in physical as well as the virtual platform. It will be in hybrid form. We have taken a decision to disinvest from the Eastern Cape Audiovisual Center, popularly known as Miriam Makeba. This decision was painful, arrived at after almost 3 years of attempts to turn the institution around. In its place, we have launched the Eastern Cape Music Excellence Program, which aims to continue with the original objective of investing in the growth and sustainability of the music industry in this province. We will also enhance the work of the department, the national department in the Eastern Cape Music Excellence Program, where our Eastern Cape-based artists as well as record labels will then be given an opportunity. Through the EdPEX Siqaqambisa Ubugcisa Fund, we will continue providing financial support to emerging artists in audiovisual and interactive media. Under film development, over the past 2 financial years through the Stimulus Fund, we have invested about 38 million in the development of film within the province. This investment has seen the funding of 23 films and documentaries whose storylines showcase the theme of the home of the legends. These include the long-awaited 13-part signature drama, that series that will be on your screens before the end of this financial year. This investment has also ensured that the province continues to be a hub of film activities, attracting various international and national production houses to shoot films in our beautiful location. Working with DIDIT, we are very much advanced in the development of the film office. We are still committed in the establishment of the film commission. However, due to limited resources, we are taking that step by step. So we are now developing a film office and are in advanced stages, and we have already developed a film policy. With respect to the transformation of the heritage landscape, we continue embracing and celebrating the broad scope of the province's rich history and heritage legacy. This year, we are going to refurbish some of our museums. A number of them had to be refurbished, repurposed, and remodeled in order to meet the necessary occupational safety standards. And these include the conclusion of the Barclay East Museum, the conclusion of the refurbishment of Fort Beaufort Museum, as well as the fact that the Kariega Museum is projected to be completed by the end of the financial year of 2022. Honorable Consiwe has already told you who Reverend Bokwe is, so I will not bore you with the details. I will just indicate that this financial year we will be commemorating the legacy and the history of the stalwart Reverend John Knox Bokwe. Let me just skip Honorable Deputy Speaker and indicate that we will continue to assist in healing the soul of the nation by working closely with the relevant government department and social partners and on the restitution and relocation of mortal remains of victims of conflict. In this regard, the remains of Ukumkanu Yinsa will be relocated from the banks of Mabaha River to Matu Great Place. The remains of Okumkani Uhlanga from Futeni Mountain to Mtata. We are also working on tracking the remains of Amakwati traditional leader Nkosi Stokwe Ndlela, who led the Stokwe rebellion against the colonialists in Qaqadu in 1881. With respect to EGPRA, honorable members would recall that we have been on the news negatively so with regards to EGPRA. However, the tide has since changed. We have increased its money, and there is good news. EGPRA has now fast-tracked the process of permit applications through the establishment of the effective and efficient permit committee comprised of town planners, archaeologists, paleontologists, and architects. So we are well in advance in the approval of those permits, and these are bringing billions of investment into the province. We will continue, however, to provide administrative support to the council, and we have already started advertising some of the posts, and we are providing legal support to the council. ECPGNC, I will just indicate, Honorable Deputy Speaker, that it remains exemplary nationally in terms of the work that they do. Siyanconywa kakhulu, and for us, the work of the ECPGNC is not just about the names, but it speaks to our identity as the nation. We have a task to construct a common identity that affirms the culture, language, and symbols of the indigenous people of this country. We must therefore never shy away from correcting the injustices of the past and the affirmation and inclusion of the previously marginalized. The name changes are about restoring dignity and making visible all those who were made invisible by the apartheid colonialism. In this financial year, ECPGNC will standardize the following names: Craig Ocala, Takastad Tilden, Stegstrom, Alcoa Bay, Colchester, Gombo in East London, the Buffalo City. We are going to start, we have already started the consultation with our stakeholders. With respect to the development of multilingualism, we are continuing with the program of supporting 100 authors in this regard, and we encourage all the authors to write in our 4 languages in the province. We are also engaging other departments to vigorously engage in establishment of language units. I can without a doubt indicate that the Department of Education has gone ahead and done that. The Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature has done that. So it's departments. Social cohesion, I've already spoken to the social cohesion strategy. In terms of the inculcating a culture of reading and lifelong learning, we continue with the rollout of internet connection in our libraries. 35 will be connected this year, but also we are progressing very well with the
2 minutes.
e-books, and we will include learner support in the e-books. Sports and recreation, as a response to the pandemic, we have modified our plans, and our approach and delivery model is anchored on school sport, club development, as well as sporting excellence and professional sport. For those who are more interested in the social aspect of physical activity, we will work collaboratively with other partners to ensure that non-competitive sport is available. We are also working this year with the Department of Health. We will launch the Move for Health Action campaign in order to reduce not comorbidities, but communicable diseases. We are supporting clubs in our communities. 120 clubs will be supported. We are also supporting 119 local leagues, and we encourage people to affiliate to their federations. We will also be hosting major sporting events. SVT Games, kwakhona Sports Tourism Fund yabuya this year. Lastly, Honorable Deputy Speaker, with respect to netball, enkosi ngondivumela nisi speakership banamhlanje ndinxibe netballing. We have launched the netball Fridays in commemoration of in support of the World Cup that is coming to our shores. We will have netball Fridays activation in all districts, and we call upon members of the Provincial Legislature, MECs, municipalities, and corporates to wear their netball Fridays and purchase them. We are proud of the work that our athletes are doing, particularly women football and border rugby, as well as EP rugby. We are collaborating with the DISA in terms of supporting people with disabilities with respect to sport. In terms of administration, we will continue with good governance and ethical leadership, but also we will continue with the program of developing women in SMS. In conclusion, Honorable Deputy Speaker, allow me to table the annual performance plan and of the department as well as that of EdPEC. Thank you very much.
Enkosi kakhulu mphathiswa. Masimpeni izandla. Ingxelo yomgaqo nkqubo yohlahlo lwabomali kunye nawo onke amanye amaxwebhu athe ethaca apha phambi kwale ndlu awuthi adluliswe kwikomiti ejongelwe oko ngokomgqaliselo wekhulu elinama-61 uMhlathana wesibini. Mandicele usosiba asifundele ingxelo elandelayo yesithandathu.
Ukwandlala kwesabelo-mali sebhodi ye-15 ezokhuselo nonxibelelwano.
Mandimeme umphathiswa wezokhuseleko kweli phondo. Honorable Xotiwe.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, Honorable Premier in absentia, members of the Executive Council, honorable members of this august House, heads of departments and officials from Department of Community Safety, South African Police Services, Provincial Commissioner, Chairperson of Community Police Force, and all peace-loving citizens of the Eastern Cape. Good day. This policy speech marks the third point of the term of the 6th Democratic Provincial Administration. It is also the first for the renamed Department of Community Safety and the now fully functional Justice, Crime Prevention and Security Cluster. Based on this name change from the Department of Community Safety to the Department of Community Safety and Licensing to the Department of Community Safety, it is clear that the department and the province must go back to the drawing board and seek to honestly and truthfully review the extent which the department is traversing the newly defined path as determined by the 6th Democratic Administration. The 2019 manifesto of the governing party makes a bold commitment to create safe communities to ensure that people are and feel safe. Amongst the commitments made is to rid our communities of all forms of crime. To achieve this noble goal, the manifesto identifies 9 interventions. The most relevant and important for the Department of Community Safety is the strengthening of the community safety platforms and fostering direct community and public participation in the fight against crime. The National Development Plan envisions a South African where people are and feel safe and have no fear of crime. Among other actions to realize these visions are as follows. Safety audits to be conducted in all communities focusing on crime and safety conditions of the most vulnerable. Increase the community mobilization and participation in crime prevention and safety initiatives. Mobilization of youth as safety ambassadors to ensure safe places and spaces for young people and vulnerable groups. The Provincial Development Plans calls for increased community participation in crime prevention and community safety initiatives by strengthening and expanding a variety of community safety platforms. It further calls for combating of crimes and violence against women and children through active citizen campaigns. Honorable Deputy Speaker, during the presentation of our policy priorities last year, we assured the House and the people of the Eastern Cape that, notwithstanding the advent of the coronavirus on our shores, we shall advance our offensive against crime and violence. The January 8th statement has also set out clear priorities of 2022, and those must be translated and customized into a program for the ANC and its government, and as such can be realized by the implementation of priorities as contained by the January 8th statement. Among those priorities, the department shall defend our democratic gains against attempts to undermine our constitutional order and destabilize our democracy. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the department congratulates Lieutenant General Mene on her appointment as the Provincial Commissioner of South African Police Services in the Eastern Cape Province. Her appointment continues to prove the capacity of women to lead society. Malibongwe igama lamakhosikazi. She is leading a department that has patriarchal orientation. Whilst we celebrate her appointment, we also want women to lead the detective services. This section continues to be stubborn towards transformation. Our PC Lekgotla has identified areas that the Department of Community Safety must focus on. These areas include developing campus safety strategy and plan. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the campus safety plan has been approved by the National Commissioner and is ready for implementation. This will be launched at the Walter Sisulu University Mthatha campus and rolled out in the year through the rest of other institutions of higher learning. The second one is to oversee the establishment of the DNA testing laboratory in the province. The building plan for the DNA lab in Gqeberha was completed and submitted in July last year for approval. Construction started in October 2021 and currently the project is on course. As per the project plan, we expect that installation, commission, and project handover will take place in June this year. We shall then start with the validation and training in July 2021 and expect the lab to be fully functional in February 2023. On piloting the court watching brief, The court watching brief was piloted in Elliot, in Ngcobo, Cacadu, Lusikisiki, and Bizana, and has proven to be a very useful program in the fight against gender-based violence, femicide, and domestic violence. It seeks to assist South African Police Service that no bail is granted to perpetrators of this scourge, and further seeks to assist in prosecutor-lead investigations, thus reducing the number of cases that are struck off the roll due to poor investigations and or reluctance of victims to testify. It has also assisted the department in the reopening of cases that were previously struck off the roll for one reason or the other. On increased conviction rate in gender-based violence, through the court watching brief program, the department has identified 200 cases that have been struck off the court roll and succeeded in having at least 182 of these cases brought back into the court roll. Thus far, of the concluded cases, 2 life sentences, 15 and 8-year sentences have been sanctioned to different perpetrators. Our community and accountability engagements are yielding good results in educating people about issues of gender-based violence and femicide for the vulnerable groups. In doing that, we are making sure that the involvement of our security cluster departments is prioritized for the benefit of our communities. In accelerated efforts in terms of implementation for special and transformation programs on youth development, through our partnership with the NYDA, the department has afforded training on entrepreneurship and emotional intelligence programs to unemployed youth in the province. We continue to assist girl child with sanitary towels and education on violence and crime prevention through adopting schools in Tanzania, Sweetwater, and Ekozini. The department is committed in organizing and providing educational programs against domestic violence and crime prevention to children in schools and our communities through our safety patrollers and our district offices. On intensification of the school safety program, the department has intensified its Safer Schools and Families program by placing 54 safety patrollers at 27 schools in the province through the EPWP grant. It has further ensured that there are sound partnership between members of CPF and those of the SGPs. Sport against crime continues to be an effective tool in keeping school-going youth otherwise engaged through the donation of soccer, rugby, and netball kits to schools. On police oversight to ensure improved accountability and reduction of corruption and improve police visibility in rural and farming areas. Through our revised rural safety strategy, with the provincial safety strategy that is in the process of review, the intensification of village committees, street committees is a critical milestone. The launch of the traditional policing program in the province has also proven to be a critical factor in community mobilization in the fight against crime. Our rural safety intervention has been consolidated with the deployment of another police community service center at the Amampondomise Kingdom. Our partnership with the Moral Regeneration Movement has not only ensured public participation in the program, but also the redirection of our moral compass. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the death of Chief Ngomhlaba Matanzima has dealt this program a serious blow and a great loss in the fight against crime and violence prevention. Safety assessments were conducted at Storms River, Biki, and Alice Police Station. The material stock theft unit was also assessed. Biki was assessed to monitor and evaluate interventions which were made in the 2020-2021 financial year, as this was one of the police stations, the top 30 national police stations for stock theft. I am proud to announce that a special court for stock theft has been established in Biki with dedicated prosecutors. With the establishment of the anti-gang unit in the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro, we have seen a reduction in murder and attempted murder in Bethelsdorp and Garvendale. I must, however, state that Alcoa Park, Motherwell, KwaNobuhle, and New Brighton remain stubborn in murder and attempted murder, as are they on the rise. We shall strengthen our efforts in all areas of increasing the capacity of this unit. I must state that the community must play a very pivotal role in assisting law enforcement to curb this crime. Service delivery processed by our communities remain a sore thumb in the stability of the province. These protests are violent and at times disrupt government services to continue unhindered. Protests also affect schooling and on some occasions forces healthcare workers, including doctors and nurses, to flee for safety. This has seen public order police being deployed to these areas to restore law and order. Honorable Deputy Speaker, we must note that the service required by our communities cannot be delivered by the South African Police Services. SAPS should be the last phase of government during these protests, and that the responsible departments and local government must be in the local phase of addressing these protests. The multi-government approach and use of the district development model must be enhanced, as this can lead to the reduction of these protests. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the department continues in its effort to ensure compliance with its mandate as enshrined in the Civilian Secretariat for Police Service Act number 2 of 2011. Although this mandate remains partially funded, commitments made to this House and the citizens of the Eastern Cape are being fulfilled. Despite the good work done in the battle against crime and violence as suggested by the 2021-2022 third quarter statistics, murder, stock theft, and gender-based violence continue to plague our province and erode social cohesion and safe communities. The Biki, Kumbu, and Sulenkama areas remain stubborn in the fight against stock theft and Lusikisiki in the gender-based violence and femicide crime category. A coalition with a broad partnership from public and private sector, NGOs, CPOs, and the higher education institutions shall be established. Walter Sisulu University is currently leading in the partnership. We have established a collaboration by driving a strategic dialogue with the Department of Corporate Governance and Traditional Affairs through the Governance and Administration Transformation Cluster and the House of Traditional Leaders. We continue to engage on issues relating to death in circumcision. Community engagement on male circumcision and unfull initiation schools have already started in the Crescent district, and we are planning to extend it to all districts as part of bringing proactive initiatives in reducing the high rate of death from initiation school and also eliminating unlawful initiation schools in our province. The department has partnered with the NPA for dedicated prosecutors that will deal with the cases relating to death in circumcision as well as injuries. SAPS has provided special detectives for these cases, and Colonel Slacher has been appointed as the provincial coordinators. These cases will now be owned by the state, and no complainant or no accused may influence the direction of these cases by withdrawing the charges. In the intensification of the program of monitoring the South African police compliance with the Domestic Violence Act, 82 police stations have been monitored. There has been improvement there too, but SAPS remains plagued by the shortage of resources, both human and capital. We have still not yet achieved full compliance on victim-friendly rooms, although protection orders are served. This turnaround time there too requires serious improvement. I must however, take the opportunity, Honorable Deputy Speaker, to congratulate Kwanobuhle Police Station as being the first and only station to achieve 100% compliance on DVA. We are actively participating in the development of the new National Six-Pillared Integrated Crime and Violence Prevention Strategy.
2 minutes.
We must urgently subject it to a diagnostic process to ensure that it addresses the complex set of safety challenges of the Eastern Cape. We will continue participating in the implementation of the Safer Cities program in partnership with the Nelson Mandela Metro Municipality. Our areas of focus include, but not limited to, spatial planning, environmental design, infrastructure and development, and law enforcement education. The department consistently evaluates the effectiveness of governance processes and structures internally and externally, including risk management controls, fraud prevention, and ethics management. The Provincial Justice, Crime Prevention and Security Cluster into a strategic and program-driven platform has now been established and is fully functional. The National Department, to name but a few, are Correctional Services, Home Affairs, NPA, and the Department of Employment. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the Department of Community Safety will start 2022-2023 financial year with a significantly reduced budget of 107,969,000. The allocation is broken down as follows. The compensation of employees is 78,690,000, and goods and services is 26,478,000, and on capital programs is 2,801,000. The capital budget has since been reduced. The departmental mandate continues to expand as we strive to make impact on crime prevention, Our resources do, however, remain the same despite the further expansion on service delivery to benefit our communication. Of the provincial equitable share, the department only receives 0.1 budget of the project. Honorable Speaker, as per the rules of the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature and on behalf of the Department of Community Safety, I table the 2022-2023 budget policy speech, the 2022-2023 annual performance plan, and the 2022-2023 annual operational plan, and the 2021-2024 service delivery implementation plan for vote 15. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC. Siyabulela Mphathiswa. Just before I conclude, Honorable Mkhakha, on which rule are you raising your hand? Okay. Okay, you can speak. No mic?
No, Chair. Sorry. Chairperson, Yeah, Honorable Deputy Speaker. No, I'm just rising, Deputy Speaker, just to register a concern here. In relation to heads of departments, we took a decision here that for the last term, or early this term, that heads of department must stop land yokuza zithumele ezinye officials who are demanding the presence of the heads of department at the legislature.
Noted, you can't hear.
Oh,
Okay, he's raising a concern about the presence of the HODs in the proceedings.
Yes. What I want to
sorry, Honorable, can you come to the podium, just quickly? Okay, thank you very much, Honorable members.
Ungayibeka
i-mic le phansi, then you will address directly from here. No, put it down. Just make your point.
No, thanks, Honorable Deputy Speakers. My apology for, I forgot that there are those who are individual. No, Chair, I'm just reminding this House that we took a decision that heads of departments, when they attended the sessions of the legislature, must not send other officials. We demand their presence as heads of departments. Secondly, they must stay for the duration of the sitting. There was a reason that was motivated then, so that we don't see them as bad timing in the legislation. The department, we want them presence here, fully presence here.
Thank you.
Secondly, Chair, Deputy Speaker, it's worrying, Deputy Speaker, that his speeches, so MECs, for a public, not for us as members. And how I wish that the legislature might have an interaction with the executive so that they measure time allocation. It can't be correct, Chair, Deputy Speaker, that MEC prepare a speech, spending sleepless night as a presenter, 50% of his speech is at the legislature. Just imagine for a person who's not part of the legislature. And I'm saying that must be corrected. It's either a question of content or a question of over preparation. But I'm saying there has to be an interaction between the legislature and the executive so that they measure time, so that we listen to the full public speech. Because this public policy speech, kulapo MEC present khona amabhongo wakhe department for the entire duration of the financial year. Those are the two things, Chair.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Honourable members, just before I conclude the proceedings, I wish to indicate to honourable members that time allocation for debates of this nature is the determining function of the Whips Committee. The duty of the presiding officers is to maintain that order. I think the Honourable Speaker, when we started these proceedings, indicated that the time allocation as decided by Whip's committee. Therefore, it is not the duty of the executive or even presiding officer to allocate time for any debate in this House. Only the Whip's committee that is given that responsibility. And I think all parties have managed to meet before these proceedings, and they've made that determination. But I can also indicate that the issue that these policy speeches are referred to the portfolio committee to consider these budgets. After consideration, they will be brought back here after adoption for further debate. So I think it's a matter that will be handled by the Chief Whip, but we are not competent as this structure to make a determination on the matter. The last issue that I would like to indicate is that the Eastern Cape page, which is the Eastern Cape Office of the Premier page on Facebook, I've seen it as we are proceeding and MECs is presenting here, it's abuzz with comments. I would like honorable MECs and your communications teams, as well as spokesperson, to follow those pages, including Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature page. There are issues I'm reading and feedback that we are getting, because these proceedings are also live and people are connected and they are making some contributions as we are proceeding with these sittings. And that concludes the presentation on this matter and the business of the day. And the House... Yes, honorable member, I think it's Honorable Saziwa.
Yes, honorable Speaker.
Yes, in what?
That's the last item of the order paper, Chair, in terms of the name of the department. Because when the MEC was presenting her budget for speech, she indicated that the department's now name has been changed from the current safety and liability to community safety. I wanted to check whether the budget that we will be considering at that committee will be reflecting a new name for this one. So it's a matter that I think I want the community to look at that so that
okay.
as we refer this budget, we refer it in a new proposal, that name has
okay.
been gathered. So just a matter that I think honorable Speaker, we need to tie up nicely. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable member. I think the budget is going to follow the new name. So community safety, you are quite correct on that one. The House will now adjourn until tomorrow, Thursday, the 17th of March, 2022, at 2:15. The House now is adjourned.
Thank you, Honorable.